Hayden, what's up?
Not much, man. What's up?
Thanks for coming.
No problem. I'm glad you guys asked me to come.
Yeah, I was pretty stoked we ran into you, and then I think that was the first time I've met you, to
Yes.
be honest with you, and I've heard your name around, but I'm pretty stoked.
Yeah.
And stoked that you're here.
Well, I'm glad to be here, and trust me, it's exciting. And like I said, I've seen you on your podcast and everything with levels and all that, but yeah, I never met you before.
I absolutely love those guys.
Yeah.
They are some of the best people in general.
Well,
and so nice.
I've spent a lot of the time with them over the last year, so playing shows and touring and things like that. So I get it, definitely. Yeah. Dalton's the best.
Yeah.
They're all the best, but Rob's the dad, and I love him to death too. And I don't know, they're all cool dudes.
Yeah, they are very cool dudes. How'd you get involved with them?
Well, music just in general. I used to be in a band called Smoke Signals, which you may have heard of too. I played a lot with them, and then that's how I ended up meeting Dalton through an old band he had. I think it was called Between You and I. And then Census, he was in Census for a little bit, and then we kind of just hooked up because he records. I do a lot of covers, and he records most of my, everything I do actually.
Yeah.
When it comes to covering vocals or doing any kind of projects vocally, he always does all this stuff, and we're actually hooking up this Wednesday to do another cover. So
Nice.
Yep.
What are you guys gonna do?
I'm gonna finish a Holy War cover I did, or I started a while back, but I'm gonna finish it, and it's from Thyre's Murder.
Nice.
Yep.
You always been involved with the heavier side of music?
Mostly, yes. I think that's just kind of like in high school I was in choir and stuff, but like whenever it came to what I wanted to do and what I played, it was always been metal. I started back in like 2006 with a band called Tomorrow Brings the Agony. From there, I just moved up from one band to another. I went to a band called Legions of Weight. They were pretty big here for a while, and then from Legions of Weight to Smoke Signals. From Smoke Signals, I joined a band called Suffocate, which technically I'm still in, but the band's just not active anymore. And they're out from California, and we did some shows with them and stuff like that. And I've done touring in between all that with Smoke Signals, and then from one thing after another, it's just kind of got to me where I've been in the scene for now 14 years.
Yeah.
So
That's definitely some good roots in that.
Oh, yeah, no, it's fun, and I've met a lot of great people, and trust me, some of the best people I've ever known are been from the scene, so.
Yeah. I'm pretty surprised, even back, like, say, 10, 14 years ago,
Yeah.
I was surprised at how big it was around here, but I was even more surprised at how big it still is.
Yeah.
You know, how many people are still, like, stoked about it and into it.
Well, yeah, and that's what, like, going to the show the other night at Punks for Paul's, like, all the people that I've seen there, I've seen a lot of those people around for the last 10 years plus. Like, when I came into the scene, like, 2006, 2007, it was Samantha Allen doing, Nuckfest and having all these big bands packing out Vinos, like, literally, like, you can't breathe. Like, you walk and you fall because it's so sweaty, and you're just having a great time. And, like, literally all those people that I saw back then, I still see now, and I think that's really what's kept it together. But, I mean, it's fluctuated. It's changed. People have evolved, changed their music style.
Yeah.
And even with all that, we're all still here. We're all supporting. And at this point in time, I think we're coming together and supporting better than any time ever before.
Yeah, I think so, too. I think we're in a, definitely the emergence of a revival, which is good. It's what we need. I was very surprised at the turnout for that Punks for Paul show.
Yes.
Which was great, both for all those bands, but then also the animal thing was pretty rad too.
Yeah, no, and that's what I'm saying. I'm really good friends with Christian. I literally used to hang out like almost every day, and he's been working a lot lately, so that hasn't been available. But man, when he started to do that, and he's been doing this for months now, like literally preparing this for months. He's worked really hard, and I'm really excited. I'm really happy to see that it worked out as well as it did for him. And we all had a great time. It seemed like everybody enjoyed itself. They made good donations. They made money. They just did it for more than just to do it. It wasn't, anything more than that. And I think that's something pure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, good cause, good people, everything was really, really good.
Yes.
And it was a lot of fun. I had a really good time.
Yeah, it was really great. I actually got in the pit for the first time.
Yeah, I saw you.
so-
I saw, and it was actually pretty awesome. I was like out there. I was like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
She said, hey, when I get in there, will you take my picture so I can put it on
Yes.
Instagram?
Yes. I still have to get that picture because I'm like, I need to prove I'm hardcore.
Do it for the gram.
Yes.
That's right.
Well, and like I said, and there's a lot of people that will go, and you'll see people that are in the pit that have never been before. There's always one person that's never done it before, and when you see that person, they're having a blast. One of my other friends that went, her name's Lauren, and she said she'd never been into anything like this before, never like show atmosphere, but she just loved it because it was accepting. It was something where she could go and be, crazy, wild, do whatever she want, and just be happy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a good time. We need more things like that, which I think is, like I mentioned, part of like that whole revival.
Yeah.
People are realizing like, hey, we can still do this. All you gotta do is get some rad people together, and this shit can happen.
Well, and even things like this, like podcasts, like in like Crashcast, like all the people coming together and really like whenever something's going on, we getting it out and getting it known and letting people know that we're actually still here doing something. So
yeah, that's a big part of it for sure. I know. I mean, I grew up not too far from here, and you never heard about shit going on. You just had to kind of be there.
Exactly.
And even like I know Christian, I know a bunch of the bands were really advertising and trying to get word out for the show, and they did a great job. But there were even people there that I overheard, like, I didn't even know this was going on. We just kind of, a friend messaged us today, like,
hey.
So yeah, we just got to get it out more.
Exactly. But that's, like I said, that we need people like Christian, and even me and Brandon Hanley, a good friend of mine that was at the show too. We've been doing shows and stuff like that. We're starting to. We did a show back in December called Field of the Flame, and he's going under his production as Klondike Production. But anyways, we've been trying to do other shows and mix genres and get, just the scene built in all areas, not just metal, not just rap or hip hop or whatever you're doing. We want to just kind of get that building here because there's a lot of space for it. And for whatever reason, like I said, it died for a little bit and now it's coming back. So
yeah. And hopefully it comes back and stays back.
It's going to. I think it's going to this time because there's too many people that just care, and we're all older too. Honestly, like you have to think that 10 years ago, I'm 27 now. I was only 17.
Yeah.
And then before that, I was 14, 15 in the scene, like just starting out, learning what it was about, like seeing all these people like Stan. I don't know if you know Stan from Terminal Nation and everything, but yeah, I just. People that have been around forever, you look up to them and then you learn and then become a part of it.
Yeah, for sure. I'm hoping it's it looks good right now. I think we're in a good spot. Pretty stoked about it. So you also got your photography that you do. How long you been doing that?
A little over a year now. I actually used to work for Verizon. I did that for about 4 years. That's kind of what I always did beforehand. It was call center, customer service, management, stuff like that. But photography was always the thing that I wanted to do. I did it back in high school, got out of it, and then just one day I was like, hey, I've saved up this money. I want to do something I love. So I just picked up a camera and started doing it. And now I'm trying to work more into videos, like Anchor the Appetite. I did their video, so
yeah,
something I'm working into.
Yeah, videography is always something that's really been interesting to me.
Yeah.
I don't ever have the free time to delve into it. It took me forever just to figure out, like, what cameras to get for this, you know what I mean?
Hey, you just play with it. You gotta go with it. There's a lot of options out there.
Yeah, that's the big thing. There's so much to chew on, But that's the way it is with pretty much like all the equipment and stuff like that in general for most hobbies like that.
Yeah.
Big or as little as you want to go, really.
Well, yeah, exactly. And like I dived in, hard whenever I did it. I'd saved up a lot of money in my 401k, and that's what I used to invest in it. I literally spent every dime of it just to invest into it, and I've spent a lot of money since then. I've had family support that's helped me out too, because every time, even with my music, my family's always supported me in everything I've done, anything I want to do or I'm passionate about. So I'm thankful for that. But yeah, I just picked up a camera and I was deciding that I kind of wanted to do it now, and I'm still really figuring out where I want to go. I mean, I think at this point I really want to make movies one day. Like, that's my ultimate goal. Like, I want to produce, I want to write, I want to make movies and short films and whatever comes up, really. But right now I'm just, focusing on portraiture, weddings, making sure that I just really taking on any job that it comes up so I can get the experience. Shows, I do a lot of shows. I've been on tour. Went on tour with a band called Varsity. They're up from New York. And I went on tour with them in September when we did photos and videos and stuff from that. That was really fun, so I'm looking to do more stuff like that even, just whatever comes up.
What's your favorite? What are you most interested in on the photography side?
On the photography side, probably portraiture. That's probably where it comes in the most. I like creative portraiture. I like telling a story but through an image, and I'm really trying to even find my style in doing that. Like, I like to make a theme, have it set up, do makeup, do clothing, plan out your location, whatever it is, composite a photo, take photos from other things and, put them together. Like, I just want to build something that's creative and tells a story, but just in a still image. And I think that's kind of where doing that at first and wanting to do that the most is kind of what pushed me into like video and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, they're super similar avenues, right?
Yeah,
they both do the same thing. Just one is a moving picture and one's a still picture.
Yep.
So yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you got anything planned for like any films or anything that you're gonna try out?
Well, yeah, actually, whenever we were shooting the Anchor the Appetite video, we shot a beginning scene, and it was a kind of had more dialogue and everything, and we ended up cutting it out at the end just because it was the video was 7 minutes long. We're just we want to do this, but will people actually watch it? And
sure.
Is this a good move for you guys right now? And ultimately we cut it down way back. So the opening scene's kind of part of that, where he's walking up, but we also shot a scene where he's searching for him and things like that. And so I think we're gonna probably, me and Ian, the guy that did that, I hope are going to just try to add something into that, write a story, write a dialogue, and do that. I'm also working with one of my friends, Ethan, on a poker scene. I really want to just do something. It's generic. It's been done before, but I just want to do it to practice kind of thing. I want to do a poker scene with some of my friends, make a little dialogue, whatever it ends up being. Bring in smoke, bring in lights, bring in my friends that have been doing this. Dalton's one of the people I'll probably end up working with, because he's done all this stuff and he's gone to school for it. So, he's someone that I really, believe in and trust whenever it comes to something like that. So, I always try to learn anything I can from somebody else.
Sure. Yeah. Especially someone else that has the background in it,
Exactly. And like I said, I'm still new to it all. I'm still so fresh to it. And honestly, I feel it's going to take a few years to really get to where I want to be, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just it's all happening quick, in my opinion. I think I've gone a long ways quick.
Yeah, that's it's always good to be able to have another medium. You know what I mean? That's I started tattooing at 29.
Yeah,
and was not an artist out of the gate. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's been a long road. And it's still in the same. I'm not even close to where I'd like to be with it, but just keep trudging forward, man, making shit happen.
Yeah, and like I said, I enjoy it. That's one thing it's why I quit my job, and it's why I went from making almost $60,000 a year, being comfortable and not having to worry about money. But I hated my life because I didn't do anything I wanted to do. I didn't play music. Now I have the opportunity to play music, and honestly, I don't do bad with photography. It gets rough, but I mean, for the most part, if I just keep pushing, I'm always getting it through.
Yeah. That's So you just quit your job and was like, fuck it, man.
Yeah. Well, it was back in April of 2019 that I quit. And I started really getting serious with the photography around January. So, but yeah, in February, I ended up actually having a heart attack, and that's kind of what made me think about a lot of things.
No shit.
Yeah. I had a heart attack. I had an infection in my heart called monopericarditis. And what it does is it gets in the lining of your lungs, or not the lungs, but your heart and in your heart muscle. And then it basically overworks it, and then it caused me to have a minor heart attack.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it happens to less than 200,000 people in a year. So I won the jackpot.
If you say so.
Yeah, exactly.
What brings that on?
Really, just you can get it. Literally, you can get it from just infection through your nails, your gums, any kind of scratch. Like it just happens. Like usually it can be with mold. So it could have been I just touched something moldy, and it could have done something like that. But there's a lot of things that they don't really know exactly. They just know it can get in through like your fingernails even. It's a lot like they said. It's a lot like staph infection almost too. Like it can just be on your body and then get in there, and it just like I said, it's not very common that happens.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
So walk us through. Were you at work when that happened, or were you at home?
No, actually, I just came back from Nashville. I was out in Nashville shooting with one of my friends, and we were doing some dive bar shoots and stuff. And it was like 2 a.m. I got home. I went to sleep. Felt completely fine, nothing wrong, and I woke up at 5:30. Like my whole left arm was like numb, and I couldn't really move it. Like my chest was like just killing me. Like I honestly thought I slept wrong because I'm a weird sleeper. I'll sleep in weird angles, so it happens. But I woke up and I was like, I'm gonna take a shower and see how I feel. So I hopped in the shower, and within like 2 minutes, I was like, no, this is not normal. Like this is not normal. I'm gonna go to the hospital. So I drove myself to the hospital. And I got there and I was like, hey guys, I think I'm having a heart attack. And they're like, well, you just need to calm down. You think it's an anxiety attack? I was like, no, I have those, but this is not it. And they're like, okay, well, just sit. And I was like, okay, well, please someone hurry. I'm about to pass out. Like I'm feeling really not great right now.
Yeah.
So they got someone out there with the EKG machine and everything like that. And they started running their test and doing that. And while they're waiting there, like, the first doctor comes in, he's like, all right, he's like, so how much cocaine have you done? And I was like, none. I was like, none. He's like, no, we're not trying to get you in trouble. We just want to know what's going on. And they're like, you're too young to have a heart attack. And I was like, no, I don't do drugs like that. And I definitely haven't been doing any drugs like that. I was like, I told them the story. I was like, I just got home. I felt fine. Now this. And, they're like, well, we're going to do blood tests. And I was like, that's fine. Go ahead. I was like, be my guest. Well, as they're talking to me and everything, the actual cardiologist comes in. And he looks at the EKG. And he's like, dude's having a heart attack. You should probably help him out.
Holy fuck.
So they gave me some morphine and things like that to, get it all relaxed and, getting me calm because I do have anxiety problems. So from that, it was just test. I was in the hospital for a couple days just trying to figure out what was going wrong and then make sure that everything was okay. And luckily, like, there's no lasting effects that they've seen or anything like that. The only thing bad is, like, I've gained a lot of weight from, like, the medicine that I was on because I had to take medicine for, like, 6 months afterwards to, make sure nothing, because, like, it takes a long time to heal the heart and, like, get all that crap out. So I haven't been able to work out and stuff, so I've gained a lot of weight from that. But other than that, it's been good.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, no, it is crazy. I was 26 and I had a heart attack. So
what's funny? It's funny your hospital story with that because one time I had pleurisy, which is just when the lining between your lungs and your chest cavity just gets dry and like sticky.
Yeah.
And it like I let it go for way too long because I was like, it's the same thing. Like maybe I'm just sleeping wrong.
Yeah.
Like, I was cutting metal at the time, so I was like lifting like big pieces of steel and moving it around and shit. And I was like, it must just be a pulled muscle or something like that. I'll be fine.
Yeah.
So like a week went by, and then I was living in a little apartment place where I had to carry my laundry to a laundry room outside my apartment, and I was carrying it across the parking lot, and it got so like it just hit me, and it got so bad like I went down on a knee and I was like, this is a heart attack. I'm going to die.
Yeah.
I'm going to die right here in this parking lot. So I went to the hospital and I was like, maybe this is a heart attack. I don't know. And I was in my mid-20s.
Yeah.
And they did the same. They were like, well, what drugs are you on? And I'm like, I'm not. And they're like, no, for real.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not on any drugs right now. Like,
they expect it. That's what, because, I can imagine they see that a lot. I can imagine that they see people coming in there just, for whatever reason, whatever drug they're on, or not, or whatever is happening. Like, it's just what they jump to. But that's crazy. That is definitely crazy because I swear, like, I was like, guys, I'm promise, I'm not doing anything. I just,
just fix this.
like,
Please
literally,
fix this.
like, I just know this is not okay. This is what I've heard a heart attack feels like. I feel like I'm about to pass out, so please just help me. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to lose consciousness. So that's the only thing I didn't want. I just didn't want to black out or anything.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
So
have you had to do anything, like, in hindsight now to
So basically, because it happened back in, like I said, February of 2019, and just to point that out, happened a week before I went on tour with Levels, and I still went on tour with Levels,
Oh my God.
and did the tour after that, after a week after having a heart attack. But that's a different story. But since then, like, I just had to take medicine. They had me on medicine that basically anti-inflammatories to make sure that there's no swelling or anything in my heart. Antibiotic to take care of all the infection and make sure that that's gone. And I was on it for almost 6 months doing that. And then, for the first 3 months, I had to go back and get heart scans and EKGs, just to make sure everything's good. The only problem that has kind of been a problem since then is my blood pressure. Kind of have a blood pressure problem at the moment, but they say it's mostly because I gained the weight that I did. And it runs in my family, but it only runs in my family whenever the weight is involved,
Sure,
so
yeah.
they think that once I get, back to working out and everything, that'll be okay.
Yeah, that's crazy. So, what was the spark then that you were like, man, fuck this job?
Yep, that was it. I was tired of doing something that I was making good money at, but not happy with. I was just like, no, I was like, I've been doing photography. I literally was doing photography. I was driving 5 hours away, and I had to work. Technically, I was supposed to work the next morning, but that didn't happen. Anyway, so I was like, I'm doing this now. I am making a living. Like, I'm making enough money right now doing this part-time to, get by and do this. Like, if I cut some things out, if I stop doing a few things, like, going out and doing, like, just useless spending, basically, on different things, then I'll, I can do this. And I was like, I'm tired of waking up every day and, I didn't hate my job. I just wasn't happy doing it.
Yeah.
And, I was tired of not playing music, honestly, too. Like, a big thing, because I went on, tour whenever I got done with the heart attack thing, and that was already planned out, and that was a big thing for me too. Spending time with Levels dudes. That was the first time I'd been on tour in a little bit. So just doing all that was a big just eye opener. Just like, I mean, I didn't want to do what I was doing anymore. I just wanted to be happy, and playing music is what I'm happy doing, and photography is what I want to do, and I have goals for that. And I think if I just stick to it, I can make it.
Yeah, man, that's rad. It's bold, but it's super rad.
Yeah.
I've been saying like the same shit for forever, because my day job, fucking hate it. It's terrible. And I'm like, I'll get out of it eventually and concentrate more on this fun shit. But I'm just not bold enough, I don't think, because that's a bold move for sure.
It is, and trust me, I've been in some tight spots. I've been in some really tight spots of wondering when I'm gonna get my next gig, because it goes by and you'll do a gig and you'll do like a wedding or something, and they'll post it, and you'll get a few people that hit you up and they're like, yeah, we want to do that, but we don't want to do it for 6 months,
Sure.
or we don't want to get married for another year, but we want to talk to you now. And I'm like, that's cool. I can do deposits and things like that, but still, like, whenever that runs out and it comes up and I need something in crunch, it's hard. And I've thought about a lot of times about getting a second job, and I did for a little bit, actually, in June of last year. After like a few months of doing it and stuff, I was like, maybe I'll get a part-time job. So I applied at Ally Financial, and I got the job, and I was in training and stuff, and I was just, every day I went there, I was like, no, this is not, I'm wasting time here. I'm wasting time doing this.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, the time that I could, worry about, getting a job or anything, I could be actually searching for the job. I could be actually looking for people to do it. I could be looking for people to work for. And yes, it can get annoying having to message people and say, hey, I'm a photographer, bands specifically, like, this is, something I'm trying to do. I want to work with you. You want to work with me, kind of thing. Just searching more proactively for clients. And like I said, I spent like 3 weeks there, and I was like, every day I was like, no. So after 3 weeks, right before training was up, I was like, nah, I think I'm going to just go back to doing this. And I walked out whenever I told them, and I was like, I'm just going to do something else. And when I walked out the building, I was so scared. I was literally so scared because I had nothing lined up. I had no idea what to do. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew what I had to do, but I knew I had to do it, and it was just scary. And but literally the next day, I booked a wedding for like almost $3,000. So
Nice.
it worked out. Like, and that's how it works a lot. Like, I'll be in my low spots, and I'll be trying to, maybe worried about what's coming next, but that's when it comes. That's whenever I start working harder, and that's, like I said, when I get it.
Yeah. It's a good way to look at it, It's not just going to happen. You got to make it happen.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's definitely a lot of faith in yourself, which is what you need in that situation.
Yeah.
Super rad, though.
Well, and like I said, it all goes back to even back in 2017, like getting out of a 4-year relationship with someone that or almost 4-year relationship that I thought I was going to be with someone forever, getting into a relationship with someone I'd been friends with 8 years, and just jumped right in. We're birthday twins, so that's how it happened. We went to a birthday date together, and that's how that happens. But anyways, you spend time, and she lived in Nashville and all that stuff, and you go through so much, and you get lied to, and bad things happen in relationships, and then you start thinking about one thing. That's when I was like, okay, well, forget relationships. And then after that, I was like, I just worked on my job, and then I was like, well, no, I'm not happy with this job, so I'm going to do something else. So it's all led to this. It's all like all the bad experiences, all the negativity has all led to where I am now. And there's still bad things that happen. There's still rough times, but I just, like I said, I try to look at the best part of things.
Yeah. Well, I think regardless of whatever situation you're in, you're always going to have those slumps and the rough times, So, if you can get by them doing something that you're stoked to do, rather than having to drag yourself around to make something happen, then you're definitely better off in the long run.
Yeah, and that's what I'm just hoping to do. I just try to keep my head forward.
Yeah. Yeah. So would these like covers that you're doing, are you doing anything with those?
Yeah. So it started back probably really back about 2018 that I started doing it. My friend Columbus, he's out of Jackson, Tennessee. We've been friends for a long time, and he's a guitarist, so he basically does all these covers. What he'll do is he'll go and actually record the cover or the song, just as it is, and build the song from nothing. We did on YouTube, we have a cover of Chelsea Grin, Recreant. I think it's like 35,000 views at it right now, so I think it's doing really good. It's something 24, 20, 35. It's somewhere right there. I have a few. And then we did a Whitechapel cover. I've done a Bring Me the Horizon cover of Drown. That was just something I did with a dude from Russia that I found on the internet. So that was pretty cool. And it's like a metal cover too. So it's not like just the standard cover. It's got like gent and all that stuff.
Nice.
But really that's what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to build my way up to finding another band, or finding members. Like, I'm down to join a band, but I'm also down to start one. And I have things in the works for myself, but I'm having ghostwriters write for me. And the plan is really just to get everything written, get all my vocals done, get it produced, and then go out and be like, who likes this? Like, who wants to do something like this? And the people that I'm going to have write for me, I really, really trust and I really believe in. And Columbus is one of them. And, and then another friend of mine, Britton Schrum from Smoke Signals, I've talked to him about writing with me too, just to have something, like I said, we worked together in the past and it worked well. So I know anything he writes is going to work well with me. And with that being said, like, I just hope to find people that way or even find a band,
Yeah.
whatever happens.
Yeah. You have like stuff that you've been working on, that you've been writing, that you're going to try to do with someone, or are you just going to start fresh with a band?
Well, see, like I said, Levels was a band I was working to be with, and that's something I really, wanted to be a part of. And at the time, they're doing their thing, and, they're still looking for people. I'm not sure what the status of that is. Like, we don't really talk about it too much. But Levels was really the thing that I was actually spending most of my time doing. Like I said, I spent the last year or over the last year, touring with them, playing with them, filling in, going on shows with them, taking photos, things like that. So I grew a lot with that. So that was what I was really hoping for. But at this time, I don't know where I stand with that. And it's not a negative thing either way. I'm not saying one thing or another. I just think that's at this time they're still searching and doing their thing and doing all that. And like I said, I'm just happy to be part of what I was. And then, like I said, with other bands, there are some bands I'm working with to do covers with. And other bands that I'm working to do features with. The Varsity, those guys, I'm trying to work with Joey, the vocalist, and seeing if we can maybe get something going, whether it be a project or a cover or maybe even a feature in his band. Whatever happens, so I'm trying to work with him a lot, and we're working together currently, talking back and forth, but nothing solid yet for as in members or anything that's going to happen. But again, like, it's something I want to do. It's something that I want to get back into.
Yeah, something that you could definitely make happen for sure. Just another one of those. Throw your time and effort into it, and it'll happen for sure.
Exactly. Well, and this is what I think about. I started doing vocals and playing in metal when I was like 14, 15. And it took 9 years for me to get in Suffocate. And I think by far that's my biggest accomplishment yet. Because Suffocate was a band that almost innovated deathcore, or was with those bands like Whitechapel and everything at that time, making a big stand in the deathcore scene. So being a part of that will always be like a big accomplishment for me. Like I said, the first show we played at the Observatory in LA, sold out, 3,000 people. And that's dope.
Yeah,
it's dope.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a big show.
Yeah, exactly. And you're playing with, literally, we played with Suicide Silence, As Blood Runs Black, Winds of Plague, the Amity Affliction. Like, it was a big show, so it was fun.
Yeah, being sharing stage with names like that, it's definitely rad. On top of that,
it is
whipped cream on top of the pie, right?
Exactly, because these are people like literally I lived and looked up to all up to that point.
Have you ever had that situation where, like, you ended up, like, meeting some of those bands that you were super stoked with, especially if you got to play a show with them, and then they were just kind of shitty?
Oh, yeah.
That's my least favorite.
Yeah. There's a few of those times, and I hate it. And, but at the time, whenever I met those bands and in those situations, I feel like I didn't understand really what it was like to be in their situation.
Yeah.
I was still, young at that time, like playing in Tomorrow Brings the Agony, because like I said, that was from 2006 until 2010. That was going on, and I was just growing up, going through high school. But whenever I grew up a little bit, I started touring myself. I got on the road. I felt what it was like to go day to day, and then just kind of understand that sometimes you want your own space. Yep. Sometimes you need your own space.
Yeah.
And not that there was always people like badgering me at these shows or anything, but at the same time, like, you're driving, you're working, sometimes you're riding, sometimes you're arguing. So like, people are people. We're all human. So when it comes down to it, you don't know what's going on. But I mean, ultimately, though, I've had better experiences than I have worse. But and then there's been times that I've had a bad experience with the band. The next time it was completely different, So that's why I said, as I grew up, I kind of learned to understand more.
Yeah, that was a big lesson for me, because I that was one of the times was meeting bands, and then being let down, like, as I was younger, and I realized, oh yeah, these are fucking people.
Yeah.
It's not just my fucking idols here. They're just regular dudes.
Yeah.
Which made it everything a lot easier in that aspect, to look at it in that light,
Yeah.
And I try to. That's how I try to focus on a lot of that now, as I've gotten older, for sure. That everyone's just all people, man.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. And like I said, everybody's different. people can change, people can grow. It's definitely a thing that happens.
Yeah.
So, for me especially, like I've seen myself back then and seeing myself now is way different. So
Yeah. How'd you get involved with Anchor the Appetite?
Tyler Bakke. So me and Tyler go way back. He used to be in a band called The Supporting Cast, and I used to go to every one of their shows. We had a song that we always sang live together. It was fun. Or anytime I was there, I always asked him, I was like, can I come sing with you, Tyler? You're just so good.
Yeah.
You're just so good. And I just can't get enough of it. And so that's how that kind of started. I used to be at his house all the time. We'd party and have fun and do all that stuff. And then, whenever he got into the Anchor Appetite, I hit him up a few times. I was like, hey, can I do some photos for you guys? And he's like, oh, well, we already got someone for this guy, for this first thing. He's like, don't worry, I'll keep you in mind. And, time went on, and then he's like, he's like, you want to shoot our music video? And I was like, yes.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I want to shoot the music video. And that's why I wore the shirt, too, because I had to, represent him today, because he asked me to take a picture, and I didn't have a picture in it yet. So I was like, if I wear it here, that's got to work.
Yeah.
That's got to work.
Yeah. It's on video, so it's official.
And you'll get a picture later anyway. So
yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, one thing after another, and I cannot express how happy I am to have them as like really my first video client, because I'd done one video before this, and I'd worked on some live videos before this as well, but nothing where it was actually a music video where I had to tell people what to do, guide them, things like that. And having these guys as the first clients is probably the best, because whenever I went in and I was telling them, I was like, hey, I'm going to have, Dalton come in, and he's going to shoot a little bit of shots with me and stuff like that. He's going to be here for support for me, because this is technically my first one.
Yep.
And I want to make sure that I'm doing everything right. Like I've prepared for this. I've, made sure I've done my research. I'm trying to make sure that I get all of I'm not missing anything, missing shots or anything like that. And, we came in. They're like, we understand. We want you. We want you to do what you do. And so anytime we were out there on the set or anytime beforehand, they always told me they believed in me. They always told me that they cared. Anytime I even doubted myself or anything, I was like, I don't know. Let's do it. Well, let's do it again, man. Let's try. We believe in you. Let's do this. Like, they believed in me 110%. And I can't appreciate that more, because like I said, it was nervous. And then, we were doing a lot of kind of storyline too. And that's a whole nother aspect than just shooting a live video or a video of them just playing in a cool location or anything like that. Yeah. There's a lot more that goes into it. I want to make it sure it looks cool. I want to make sure it looks real. The lighting's right. It's what they want and everything like that. And honestly, they did so great too. I didn't have to really tell them to do a lot. I was like, hey, this is what I think is going to look best. And they already had their idea out and ready, but I was like, this is what I think is going to look best. They went with it, and they really nailed it with the acting and everything. And I think it turned out great for my first video. And I'm super proud of it, because I was like, I just didn't want to put something out there and be like, no, I like it and I'm happy about it. And it makes me happy that it's doing so well for them.
Yeah. Yeah. Tyler's the only one in that band that I know.
Yeah.
But the other dudes do seem pretty great.
They are.
Yeah, Tyler's really fantastic. He's such a nice dude. I know him from the tattoo shop.
Yeah.
Because he's done a lot of
all his Zelda stuff.
Yeah. That's how I met him. And yeah, he's great. And the rest of those dudes seem great. Yeah, I could see how that would be a good one to do first, for sure.
Yeah, beyond what my expectations. Because the funny thing is like the day of the video shoot, I actually had a car accident, and I hit a pole, and I really fucked up my chest. Excuse me, but it was bad, and I called Tyler. I was like, man, I don't know if we're gonna be able to do this today. He's like, no. He's like, we gotta do this today. I was like, I don't know, man. I was freaking out. I was like, I don't know, man. Like, my radiator's just screwed right now. My car is not going anywhere. I'm having to get it towed. I was like, we have to do this we were supposed to meet up in like an hour. And I was like, I'm not going to be there an hour. And I was like, freaking out. I was like, I'll call you back. And, I sat there for a minute and I chilled, and I was like, okay, if he can come get me, we can do this. So I call him back, and I was like, hey, man, can you come get me? He's like, yeah, I'll be there. I was like, okay, well, let's get my car back home, and we'll go to shoot this. And we did. And it still happened. We got a few hours late, but we ended up shooting from, like, almost noontime until, I think, like, 1 or 2 a.m. in the morning.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Where'd you guys shoot at?
So we shot at a place, Noah, I think it's Noah's grandparents, the drummer. He has like a barn and everything, so that's where we shot the inside shots, and it was a really cool place. Just had a really cool background. We liked it. It was a place where we could kind of shoot the scenes that we were wanting to shoot, because we wanted to do some stuff at night. Like the whole concept of the video is that they're trying to they're aliens trying to get away from these people that they're trying to capture them, and it's that whole process of them running into the barn, and going through that.
You have that rag still? Sorry.
No, you're fine.
I'm making a mess.
Hey, I'm a messy person, so.
My bad.
But it's just going through the process. So it all worked for the scenes, but the indoor scenes was actually at my friend Brandon Hanley's house. We shot that in his basement because it was just kind of cold and looked like a place where, you might store somebody if they get captured, So, and we were trying to look for just something that, looked kind of dingy, and he has concrete walls, and then like his garage door is like insulated with this silver sheet. And
I think I remember this place.
Yeah.
And like we all used to skateboard kind of in the back area. Yeah.
So it was really just a cool place, and we were like, cool. But yeah, we shot all like from, I think we started shooting because we got together at 12, but we started shooting at like 3, shot until like 6, and then took like an hour and a half break, and then we drove to, because we were out in Morrilton when we shot those shots, and then we drove to Little Rock and went to Brennan's house, shot it in the basement. And honestly, like, that was just so fun to do. I don't know, it was crazy.
Yeah. Do you so did you guys already have everything like planned out, or did you just kind of get together and just decide this is what we want, this is what we're going to do, this is where we're going to do?
Well, a month before the actual shoot, we got together, and I was like, guys, I don't ever, like, as a videographer, I don't ever want to be the dude that slacks and isn't ready when the day comes.
Yeah.
So I was like, we're going to get together and we're going to storyboard this. Like, we're going to, and they were like, well, you know what? We already have a script basically built out for what we want. Well, you come over, you show us, and then we'll talk about what we're going to shoot. And so that's what we did. They had a little script basically for each segment of what they kind of wanted to happen in there, and what they wanted to see in that section. And then we just, like, at that point talked about where everybody was going to be, what kind of outfits we were going to wear, try to make it like look a little bit legit, as much as we can on the budget we have. We can't go crazy or anything, but like I said, we borrowed one of their family's Lincolns, and we got like Scotty dressed all in black, and with his black curly hair, it looks great. And Scotty was honestly probably one of the coolest looking ones just because of his outfit. I liked it. But and then Ryan, like I said, they already had basically their idea. We just had to make it come to life. And so it was very easy to plan, and yes, we were on top of it the whole way, because I was like, I'm not going to go in there and be like, well, this is what we're supposed to be doing here, and then somebody else is like, no, we're supposed to be doing this here. And so it all worked out in the end.
Yeah that's rad. Do you got ideas for other music videos for other bands, things like that? You keep anything in your pocket, or? Yeah,
actually at this point, like after shooting one, like it spirals everything, and that's how it ended up with photography too. Like I never really followed a bunch of photographers or anything like that. I learned how to use my camera. I did what I had to do to learn how to use my camera, what it meant to edit, as in like what everything did, how I can edit, what programs I can use, what each section of it does. But whenever I started doing it, that's when the creativity started. Like it was like, okay, well, if I can do this in post, I can do this in my camera and make this happen afterwards, or vice versa. Now I have so many ideas for videos, a lot of ideas for videos. And one of my friends, Nick Esposito, we're going to be shooting a video for one of his rap video or songs that he's been doing. It's called Gravity, and honestly, the lyrics probably are by far some of my favorite of his, and the song is good. We're going to really make it, like, dark. I think the dark theme is something I'm probably going to end up going with for a while, It's just because I don't know, I like it.
Yeah.
It's emotional to me. I'm a very emotional person, so
Yeah.
so I try to do my best to, just kind of. I want to put as much as myself into every video, but I also tell everybody that I work with that I just want to make what you want to come in life. If you don't have an idea, then we'll make one. But
Sure.
if you have an idea, that's what I want to do. But I just want to do it in a style. It's like you watch a certain producer's film, it's their film because of whatever they're doing, whether it be color grading or style of the shooting, the angles, and all that. So
Yeah, it's as much of a collaboration as anything else.
yeah.
Two minds or more coming together to make that a reality. You know what I mean? Whether the vision's coming from you or the vision's coming from them, it's still a collaborative effort on that. And that's a lot of art in general, right?
Yeah. But art's great. That's like I said. I made a post like the other day. I'm trying to think of what exactly I said. I think it was like creativity comes from suffering, or No, I don't know. I something like along those lines. I'm sorry, I can't even remember what I posted, but it was something I saw from somebody else, and I just made a repost of it, and but I think that's the truest thing. Like, I come from a lot of like not necessarily like mental health issues. I mean, it's new to me. I have a borderline personality disorder, BPD, and it's something I got diagnosed with in 2017. But since then, like, I try to learn more about myself, and whenever I'm suffering or whenever I'm down or anxious or anything, that's when my creativity comes out. Like, that's when I want to create something, because I want to create something that basically battles what I'm feeling inside. I want something to, like, for instance, if I like feel really like lonely or whatever, like, I just want to create something like very beautiful and bright and stuff like that. And I think that's where all my ideas come from.
Yeah. Do you does it give you any trouble, like, in your day-to-day shit?
Oh yeah. Mostly because medication is expensive. So
Sure.
I don't always have the money to pay for it right now. Like, I'm still working on getting my own insurance and things like that, but that's neither here nor there. Knowing that there's an issue, or I won't even say the issue, knowing that it's there is really what helps me, just try to battle it. But it's mostly, with I have very crazy emotions, basically. Sometimes I have very extreme depression or very extreme happiness, and it's kind of manic. It's not like bipolar, but it is kind of like bipolar, and it's usually, they say symptoms of BPD is bipolar, being manic bipolar. But also it's being social, getting social anxiety, dealing with other people and doing stuff like this. Like, for instance, coming and doing something like a podcast is something I have to do because I wouldn't do it normally.
Yeah.
I want to do these things, but sometimes it's, you shut down. And so I have to give myself not the time to think about it. I just got to do it, And one thing that, like, whenever I saw my therapist and everything, he's just like, if you just count 1, 2, 3 and do it, you don't think about it. You just do it, and that really helps me push through it. And it actually relieves a lot of stress that I have whenever it comes to, like, being really anxious and being very emotional.
Do you think that led at all to, like, your decision to, like, quit your job and go more just in the art route in general?
Yeah, definitely it is. Because, like I said, this happened late 2017 that I found out about this after a bad relationship, basically. Like, just I was in a dark spot, so I thought therapy would help, and I went and saw a therapist, and saw a psychiatrist, and that's what the conclusion came to. So it was one of those things that started leading to that. Like, I'm feeling a lot of things inside that I'm just not dealing with, and not dealing with it is what's the problem. It's what's causing problems with my friends. It's what's causing problems with my family, my relationships, not communicating, not being there, like, being very, I guess, I won't say shady, but, there's days that I'm like, yes, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go do this. And the day of, it's like, I'm nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
I just drop off the face of the earth, and got tired of doing a lot of that stuff. I got tired of not really losing friends, because honestly, I've had a lot of very understanding friends. Honestly, the most understanding friends. And I try to always tell them that, like, since then, like, sometimes I'm just not there, and I gotta apologize for that. But now, like I said, since all that's happened, I mean, being creative is what helps me. Like, it helps me, like I said, battle that. It helps me take care of, the things that when I am struggling, when I don't have medication, because it like I said, it's expensive. It's really expensive.
Well, that's a whole nother animal right there, right? Like healthcare in general. That's one of the things that I've thought about too. Like even when I get to the point where I can be like, fuck my real job, like I got all this other shit going, it's going great, but then I'm gonna have to take care of all my own healthcare, insurance, all that shit, because it's a fucking mess, man. Nobody, I don't think in the U.S. can afford to just take care of that shit on their own.
Well, yeah, like I said, it's not hard in the sense that you can go and you can get healthcare. That's cool. I can go to call Blue Cross Blue Shield and set that up, but it's expensive. I mean,
exactly. That's what I mean.
Yeah, and at the same time, like, you're always just looking at what you can do more to save money and what you can do more to actually get the things you need and everything all together. Like I said, and that's really where my biggest struggle is now. I think is I'm working a job where sometimes it's hard, but I really do need this medicine and I do need this stuff. And like I said, I have a family and they help me and they support me, but they're not well off or anything. They do what they can. You know. So with that being said, it's always a pull and tug. Trying to figure out what works best.
Yeah, I think, and I don't know. It's hard for me to like even picture like good healthcare, because they talk about like healthcare in Canada, but then I hear both sides of the story.
Yeah,
same thing about like the European healthcare.
Their milk is also like $6-7 a gallon. So
Yeah, like
there's both sides. It's like but it's like an organ. Like people are like, there's no sales tax. It's $14.98. It's $14.98.
Yeah,
you buy it, but your property tax is through the roof.
Sure.
Like owning anything, or having any kind of property, or getting your tags and your license and all that stuff, so expensive.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's even starting more even here where we don't have that great healthcare anyway.
Yep.
Arkansas, for some reason, we've got one of our cars is electric, and Arkansas now has this dumb thing where just to register your vehicle, if it's all electric, it's an extra like $200 just for an all electric vehicle.
But why? Like
exactly.
But why? You're trying to help people out here, and you're just like, no, sorry. But it's like healthy food. Like whenever I started working out and everything, I was like, because I had a friend that I worked out with. His name was Bradley. And he would always take me and show me the food. I'm like, I mean, it's not that expensive, but healthy food is still way more expensive. And it's like, this is why people eat like crap.
Yeah, it's so much easier to just mass produce garbage.
Yeah, exactly.
That one. I mean, I guess that makes sense. It's easier just to throw, the scraps together and make just trash food, or just fill it with empty calories. So I guess in that aspect I understand, but there's a lot of shit that I just don't understand why it's the way it is.
Yeah. Well, I don't either. That's one thing I guess I should have paid more attention about, like politics and all that stuff, and then healthcare, but I care now.
Right?
Yeah, so, I mean, I try to, stay up now. I mean, really, working for Verizon, it was... I started paying attention more because I had good health insurance and stuff, and every year they would have people come and talk to us about what's best and what you can do with all the different plans and all this stuff. And honestly, that in itself, it's like, I mean, there's a lot to it.
Yeah, I mean, it makes a big difference in your healthcare when you got a big corporation paying for half of it. You know?
Yeah, no, trust me, like it was great. It was absolutely amazing. I loved it, but at the same time, like I said, it's a serious thing, and I battle with it all the time myself personally now. But honestly, starting a business though, like I feel like eventually once I get a little bit more stable, it'll be just fine.
Yeah. Anytime you start something like that, whether it's just a straight up business, or a project, an art project, or whatever the case may be, you know, it's just getting in that rhythm and finding it. But yeah, it'll be I'm like floored that you're just like, fuck it, man, because I want to be there.
Well,
but
I'll be honest, Gary V is where I come from with that. Like, I don't know, I watch his stuff. Gary Vaynerchuk, he's a good speaker, and I listen to a lot of stuff he says, and I don't know, he always says if you're between the time you're born until you're 28, if you're not fucking up and making mistakes, then you're not doing it right.
Yeah.
Like, and that's why I'm doing it. Like, I'm not 28 yet, and even if I'm 30, I'm not really old or anything like that. So, like, right now I'm taking the risks that I can, you know. And he also says if you believe in yourself, you'll never, you know, let yourself down. And that's what I do. I try to just believe in myself and make sure that if at least I believe in myself, that'll keep me going. And it always has, because growing up in a household that doesn't like metal and isn't really a big metal thing, they didn't really hate it, but they didn't understand it, you know, saying at 15, 16, oh, I'm going to go tour and I'm going to go play metal music. And they're like, no, you're not. No, you're not. And then I'm 21. I'm like, yeah, I actually am. I'm doing this now. And I'm about to go play the sold out show. And they're like, okay, he's kind of doing it now. So, you know, but that's kind of how my family went. And my brother was the same way. He's a vocalist. And honestly, he was a big father figure for me, because my stepfather and my real dad wasn't around because my mom moved us everywhere. My stepdad was just a piece of shit. So
yeah,
that's that. But so I followed him a lot, and he's what got me into music and metal and everything like that. And so I always had him, and yeah, I don't know, he's proud of me.
Nice.
But my family is now too. Like they always were. They worried.
Yeah. Well, I think anyone who definitely who loves and cares about you, to not that they don't think that you can't do it, but to see you, like, I don't know, give away some security maybe.
Yeah.
I could see how that would be a little bit like
exactly. And well, it's kind of funny because like my mom was always pretty supportive. She's always like, you're gonna do it whether I tell you to or not, but I'm gonna hope the best for you. But my dad's always been like, you know, you might want to think about singing country music instead, or you might want to do something else. Have you ever thought about doing a different genre? You might get somewhere with that. And I was like, yeah, you know, you're probably right, but this is what I like, and this is surprisingly what I'm good at, so that's what I'm doing. And then once I put my first album out, and I went on my first tour, which was not a big tour at all, but it was with Smoke Signals, and it turned out good. It was a good little tour. We had a lot of fun and had some pretty decent turnouts. But when I started doing that, he'd be like, oh, my son's in a band. He's a metal band. Here, let me show you a CD. Here's his music video. Like, oh, my son's in a band. My son's in a band. And that's what it turned in for ever since then. And then, like, whenever I started doing Suffocate, he's like, oh, my son's going to L.A. So it's just like, it's a big... He's a very big supporter now. And, I mean, and he still understands what the real struggle is, and that the likelihood of it ever truly working out to being like something I make a bunch of money from is, he understands what the risks are, and I understand what the risks are. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, there's definitely some there.
But I still want to tour. Like I don't think I'll ever truly give up on music, no matter what. Like even now, like I'm still working on like learning to sing better and stuff like that, and get out of necessarily like just straight heavy metal and like maybe doing rock influenced stuff or things like that.
Yeah. So
I don't think I'll ever truly stop trying.
Well, that's one of the cool things about it, right? Like you can do it till you're fucking in the casket, man.
Exactly.
I haven't played with a band in forever. I was pretty fresh out of high school the last time I actually played with like a group of people. But I'll jam out here in my little record room out there, you know, all the time.
Exactly.
Dick around with shit and just have fun.
And that's what I love doing now. And that's why, like, I'm not necessarily trying to, like, rush, like, getting into a new project. I just kind of want to, like, write some music, see what people do, and see what happens, you know, go from there. If anything, I just want to make sure that whatever my next project is, that I'm pushing myself further than I ever have before. The Bring Me the Horizon cover that I did was the first one that I really sang at, and even though it was not the best, I'm not the best singer at that point. I've come a lot farther since then. I've practiced a lot. I've tried to watch videos, just trying to really find where my voice is, so that way whenever it does come to me writing my own music in the future, that I'm where I want to be, and I'm, like I said, just pushing myself further.
Yeah. I mean, that's what everything's about at the end of the day. Just getting better at it.
Yeah. Same thing with my photography.
Yeah, for sure. What places have you been around and on tour that you've liked the most?
Let's see. On tour, the places I liked the most, I think I really liked Omaha, Nebraska. I played a show in Omaha, Nebraska once, and it just snowed, and we didn't really even by the time we got in there and everything, it was dark, and there was a bunch of fields coming in, and it wasn't anything crazy, but the scene there, like they loved us. Like we'd just come from Kansas, I think, the night before, and we'd actually broke down in our van, and we had to have someone work on it in Britain's hometown, and they fixed it up, and we got to the Omaha show. When we got there, man, like I said, they were there for us. They came out. They didn't, Smoke Signals was really new then. Like, we just put out an EP, nothing major, and like I said, I think we had 50, 60 people there. We sold a lot of merch, and they loved us, and I think that's the stuff that I love the most, is you didn't expect it. You didn't expect anybody to be there, but when they come and they know who you are and they want to hear you and they love you, that's just a big thing. So Omaha was a cool place. If we're talking about just places in general, because I've been almost to every state in the United States, and this year I actually did one of those travel things this year for everywhere I've been, and I've been everywhere but 7 states this year. So that's in itself is great.
Yeah.
But Oregon's my
man.
Oregon is where it's at.
We have a long running. I don't even know what you'd call it.
At this point, we basically have to go to Oregon because everybody keeps saying, Oregon, we love Oregon, we love this. I've never been.
I always say if I was going to leave here, that's where I'd be.
Well, and that's probably what I'm going to do eventually, too. I think in the long run, that's where I'm going to be. And in the long run, I mean, probably within the next year or so, I hope to be there.
Yeah. It's such a cool, it's such a cool space, man. It's so beautiful there.
Yep.
Everything is gorgeous. Everyone's super chill and laid back. I don't think I ran into anyone that was just a dick. Even just on the street, just fucking around, you know what I mean?
Dude, people are accepting of who you want to be there, so they don't care.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about Oregon too, is there's everything there. You want to go to the desert, you got the desert. You want sand dunes, you got the sand dunes. You want to go to the coast, you got the coast. You want to go to the forest, you got forest.
Yeah.
Man, you want to go to Japan, well, they got a Japanese rose garden in Portland, and it's freaking awesome. Yeah. It is absolutely awesome. And if you go in May, you get to see cherry blossom trees. So
yeah, it's a wild place. Super rad, though. Definitely my favorite place.
Yeah. I think it is mine, too. But other places I really like, Albuquerque, New Mexico. Albuquerque's nice. Maybe it's just a Breaking Bad thing, but I really liked going there. It was a really cool place. Very, I don't know, just had a cool vibe. It's very brown, which I'm not a very big fan of brown, but it's still cool. And I had a few friends that have lived there, too, and I visited a few times. And like I said, it's just a cool place.
I find in general that my only real experience with the desert was Phoenix.
Yep.
And I fucking hated it.
Yep.
It's terrible.
Yeah, it's terrible. I went through on this last tour in September. We took a route through from Tucson, Arizona, all the way up into Nevada, into Vegas and stuff, and then from Vegas to California, and all that is just desert. You drive right by Area 51 or where it's supposed to be, and everything. And dude, it's not. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it. I mean, it's better than Kansas.
Yeah.
Well, I don't like driving to Kansas.
Everything in Kansas just looks the same.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I can't. I fall asleep in Kansas. Man.
Yeah. I was joking, call it the treadmill of the U.S. because you're just not getting anywhere.
Nope.
It's just the same shit till you're out of it.
Yeah, and you have to go, for the most part, wherever you're going. If you're going from one side or the other, unless you're going like up high or down low, like you're going through Kansas.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is I just went through, because I went out to Oregon through the holidays, which on my Facebook page is one of the pictures, my cover photo. I think it's up at the top. Yeah, that's out in Oregon.
Nice.
That's actually like right outside my ex-sister-in-law's house. It's called Barnes Butte. But
Barnes Butte?
Barnes Butte. Yep.
Yeah, that's rad.
Prineville, Oregon. Honestly, very beautiful place. 9,000 people, but very beautiful place.
Man, I'm telling you, we went. I was in Portland when I was there.
Yep.
And we took a day and just went out to the coast, and we drove out to Cannon Beach and went through the forest there, and it's fucking amazing.
I love that book. She wrote that, like, we met for coffee before the shoot, and she was like, "Oh, I brought my book to read while I was there." I was like, "I'm glad you brought that book. We're gonna use that.
Nice.
That's gonna happen."
Yeah, that's a good title for a book.
Yep. That's Sarah. She's great.
Yeah, those trying to think of other cool places. What are the places that you haven't been to?
Haven't been to North and South Dakota ever.
Yeah, that's way out of the way.
Actually, I think I've been into South Dakota, but I've never like been in there long. I think I just went there because I was on the border.
Yeah.
But I haven't really been up far northeast, so I haven't I've been. Let's see. Well, no, because I've been through Maine, I've been through Vermont, I've been through New Hampshire, Delaware. So there's not many places I haven't been. Yeah. So, but the reason why I haven't been there is because there's just usually it's all like the North Dakota, South Dakota, like all of those places up there is where I haven't really been. So it's
only like northern,
but
Midwestern.
Idaho, or Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, been all there.
I think you only go to those places anyway if you're drilling for oil or you're trying to kill something.
Yeah. Well, Montana is absolutely gorgeous.
I have heard that.
It is absolutely gorgeous. I've
heard that.
Blown away. I actually just went there recently, and that's when I was like, oh, God.
What were you up there for?
I was on tour, and I just drove up through there because it was time of the year right before the snows and stuff, so took detour.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard it's pretty great. Beautiful.
Yep.
Wide open. I also heard that you might as well not even have a phone up there.
Yeah. Oh, no. Well, I mean, that's like almost like how it is in Wyoming. It's crazy. I don't know if you've ever been to Wyoming, but no matter what time of year, the wind is always blowing like crazy. Me and my brother are driving through Wyoming, and it's like probably 2 a.m., and we just stopped for gas, and like we're sitting there and like, dude, it's not windy at all. Like, not windy at all. We're like, okay, this is not cool. It just snowed there, so like their banks on the side of their freeways are like 8 feet tall because they get so much snow. And we're like, whatever, it's not windy, so we're thankful. So we're driving and everything, and then like right as we get into Utah to go up into Idaho, we get this weather alert on the radio, and it's like, Wyoming, 80 miles an hour crosswinds blowing 18-wheelers over, and it's like, oh crap.
Jesus.
So let's not go back there anytime soon. So yeah, it's crazy. And then like the next morning you see it on the TV, it's like they're just getting blown all right off the freeway. And we're in a little Honda minivan. So, yeah.
Jeez.
But no, Wyoming's actually pretty cool. It's a cool scenery. It's kind of like Kansas. There's not a whole lot there. And when there's not a whole lot there, there's really nothing there.
Yeah.
So, but it's cool. If we're talking, let's talk about the East Coast though. Pennsylvania.
That's where I'm from.
Yeah. I've lived in Pennsylvania before. I lived in a place called Greensburg. It's about 45 minutes southeast of Pittsburgh.
Ooh, I live near Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I lived in a little town called Lehman.
Okay.
And yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And I went to Philadelphia a lot when I was there, and Philly is one of my favorite places. It's definitely like just cool. I went on tour in March with Levels, and we went up to Philly, and man, it was so cold still in March. Like it was just like the wind hit you and it like slices you, and it's like, but I love it for some reason.
I've got family up in Philly, so I've spent quite a bit of time there, and the food is so great. I eat like a pig every time I go to Philly.
Yep.
And the history in that city is really rad too. But I don't think I could handle their winter.
No, it's not so bad. I like
it's terrible.
I like
it's terrible.
I like the winter. It doesn't get cold enough here. Like I was up in Portland and it was like 16 in the morning. I was like, yes.
Yeah, I was there in August of like 2000, maybe 13, I think, or 14, and it was warm, but comfortable.
Yeah.
Especially coming from here, you know. And
well, there's no humidity either way in the summer or winter, so
yeah. And they were everyone was like, "Oh my God, it's so hot! This is the hottest summer ever," and they were having like record highs, but it was like 80-something degrees, and I was like, "You guys are bananas!"
Yeah, like come on, guys.
Everybody was freaking out because nobody could find a fan anywhere because they were sold out everywhere. It was pretty hilarious.
Yeah, my Aunt Edith, she lives in Veneta, Oregon, which is down by Eugene, and she doesn't have air conditioning in her house or a heater. She has a freaking fireplace and her windows.
Yeah,
like that's what she lives on. Like,
yeah, that's how a lot of those people are.
Yeah,
it's the same thing. I got a buddy who he moved to Denver a while back, and a lot of them are the same way, which is crazy.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, I would love not to have that, like that bill.
A lot of places in Europe are the same too. Like no AC.
Yeah. Just
in the summertime, they'll just open some windows and just sweat it out if they need to.
Yeah, exactly.
Go for a dip in the ocean somewhere.
Exactly, and that's why, I love her too. Like she's like almost 90 now. Man, she is the coolest hippie old lady you can ever meet. Like, still grows her own weed and things like that. So
yeah. Which is another great thing about Oregon too.
Oh yeah,
you can have as much weed as you want there.
Yep, it's amazing.
Yeah, Seattle too.
Yeah,
Washington. Washington's another cool state.
It's just expensive.
It is expensive,
but that's what I like about Portland. It's only 10 minutes from Vancouver, Washington, and like really, it's only like a couple hours from Seattle. So
yeah,
it's not too bad.
Yeah, like maybe I don't know, 3.5 hours. Like that from Seattle, so you're right there. But Portland, there's so much shit in Portland anyway.
Yeah, no.
You're not missing out much.
No, like that's another thing about Oregon in general. Like if you're in Portland, you're only, truly about 8 hours to anywhere like really awesome in California, or you're a few hours to go to Seattle, or you can go to Nevada, you can go to like all these cool places. Utah is really fucking cool.
Yeah.
I like Utah. Salt Lake at least.
Really?
Yeah. It's very nice. Beautiful.
I'd never heard that before. I don't think I know anything about fucking Utah.
Well, Salt Lake is what you have to know about, and that's about it.
Yeah. I dated a guy from Utah, and he was a Mormon, and he drew furry porn, so that's cool.
Furry porn.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
He Love drew that for it? Me. He drew it, and he worked as like a school teacher for children in a Mormon church, so it was really great.
But he wasn't just like into the furry porn, just drawing it?
He said he wasn't, but I don't know that I believe that.
If you draw it, I'm sorry.
You have to be a little.
Yeah, you're into it because, I mean, you have the creativity to draw it, so you're thinking about it.
Yeah, I was in my early 20s. I was young and dumb.
That's such a strange avenue to be like, this is the art I like to make. It's furries.
Yeah, he drew me as a giraffe once. It was really weird. Yep.
You didn't keep that? You didn't frame it up?
You should
let that go. I let that life go.
No more furry porn.
Oh my god. So what do you when you're looking at photography, what do you look for in a model for stuff that you want to do?
Honestly, most of these people are just my friends.
Yeah.
They, like Michaela down there, in the with the water shoots and stuff like that. She's probably my go-to person, honestly. That's probably one of my favorite photos I took of last year. But she's my go-to because she's humble.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't, no offense to anybody or anything like that, and I'm not saying that models are all like this or anything like that, but I don't want someone that just wants to take off their clothes. Like, I don't want someone that just wants to do it to do it. I want to be creative, and I talked to you about this too. Like, I want to be creative about it. I want, like, in that photo you can see her chill bumps. Like, you see like every little thing about her, and it's just, and she actually has clothes on. She's just mostly in the water.
Yeah.
But like you can see her chill bumps and everything, and I don't know. It was really raw, and that's something like I like. And then I like to find someone that is creative as I am or wants to be creative. Like the horror scene down there. That's my friend Sarah. She's a great girl. And she writes really dark poetry, and she's like, well, hey, I just want to make my poetry come to life. Like, I just want to visually see what I'm writing. And we got down, and that was actually in Brandon's basement too. And she was like, hey, like, this is what I got. And I was like, well, how do you feel about saran wrap? You cool with that? She's like, yeah, let's do that. And so we do stuff like that. And so really, I just want someone that's creative. I don't want someone that's just doing it to, I don't know, maybe they want to be a model, or maybe they don't. Maybe they just want to see themselves in a different way. Like, maybe they just want to be creative. Maybe they just have, aspirations of just, like, seeing themselves, like I said, different. So when it comes to models, I look for my friends right now. And, I mean, I have models that hit me up and, some from time to time, and, they want to do stuff. But I also, I don't know, I like taking someone that isn't necessarily comfortable doing it too, that they've never done anything like that and they want to do it. I found Michaela online, and see that that's Alyssa. That's actually Christian's wife down here. So
nice.
So, and she's not really a model or anything like that, but she's just like, I just want to take pretty photos. Like, I just want to take something creative. So I was like, well, let's do it. So that's down at the Baker House in the Argenta district, and that, like I said, it was raining, and we were just like, hey, let's do this. Yeah. So there's a lot of times where it just comes up to where it's just a in the moment thing, and then there's times where like Sarah is the most creative woman ever, and as you can see, she's a little out there, and I'm not saying that in a bad way. She's very creative. Like, literally, we're sitting there, and she's like, I want to do a boudoir, and I was like, okay, that's cool. She's like, I want to do it in the studio. I was like, okay, that's cool. But I told her straight up, I was like, I want to do something creative. We had no props or anything, and we're sitting there, and I was getting ready and lighting, and she's like, do you have a knife? And I was like, okay, first, why do you want this knife? And then she's like, just get the knife. And I was like, okay. So I got the knife, and she does crazy crap like that. But and a lot of people actually, like, comment on there, like, they're like, why did he make you do that? Why did he do that? I was like, no, it wasn't me. I promise. Like, I didn't. She wanted to do it, and I'm not opposed to anything. Like, I think if it's creative, if it's something she saw in her mind, so that's what we did. And then the Red Riding Hood shoot, which is probably my favorite shot of the year, no doubt. And that's the before photo, and that's the after.
Nice.
So it was almost dark whenever he took that. And like I said, my camera's just a beast in low light. But like I said, she just wanted to do something Red Riding Hood, kind of evil, kind of like the one I did before with my friend Gabby. And I know Gabby for a long time, and that was another one of those things. Like, I was just like, whoa, what props do we have to work with? We got fake blood and a saw and some wood. And so, like I said, I mean, I still want to be more creative than what I'm doing now, but this is all a start. Like for instance, the composed photo, the one with all the hands, like, that was my first one that I sat there and I was like, I'd seen people do similar stuff to this, but I was like, well, I want to do this, like, see no evil kind of thing, and I'm actually going to end up using that as an album artwork. So
nice.
So that was something I did, and like I said, Megan, she's one of my go-to as well. And the thing about Megan is she wasn't really a big model person at first either. She was just had photography friends, and then I saw her take some photos, and I asked her to do a shoot, and that's how we met, and now we're really good friends. But the thing about Megan is, like, she is super smart. Like, super smart. She was valedictorian when her first year of college. Like, she's going to be an engineer, like, wants to be down and dirty and, like, do things that I think, I'm not saying anything, like, first, she's 19, so she's young. She has aspirations, and I think it's just wonderful that she's like that inspired to do things like that, and then also be creative. So.
Yeah.
So
sure.
like I work with a lot of different type of people, and like I said, if you're a model, that's fine. If you're not, then let's make you one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is be in front of the camera, right?
Exactly. Like I'll try to do the rest. Like it's like my nephews. I have 4 nephews. And every time if I don't have any models, I'll grab one of those dudes and be like, "Yep, you're coming with me."
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I had a friend who basically did like she did a lot of photography for a while, several years back, and she had a similar thing. She was like, "Hey, let me you got all these tattoos. Let me do a little shoot of you for my portfolio." And I was like, I don't know how to do any of that.
Yeah.
But I just did it, and then it was cool.
Yeah.
I was like, sweet, look at these sweet pictures I got of myself now.
Exactly. Like you never know. Like you never know what's going on. And like I'm not a big like picture person myself. Like honestly, I don't take a lot of pictures of myself, but I like taking pictures, and I think pictures are super important. Just mostly because a lot of my childhood pictures I don't have anymore. I don't have a lot of that stuff. My mom didn't really save a lot of that stuff, or it got lost in all the moving and things like that. So it's just really important to me now. Like whenever I was out in Oregon and I saw some of my family, I was like, we're gonna take pictures. Like we're gonna take a lot of pictures.
So what kind of gear are you using?
Right now I'm using Sony. So Sony is my dog. I honestly when I was in high school, like DSLRs were just coming into play. I think Canon had just released their T3i at the time, and I got that, and I was a big Canon user and stuff like that. And then when I got out of it and lost touch, I came back and I was like, okay, well, let's see what else is out there. And everybody was raging about mirrorless cameras, and Sony had just come out with the A7 III, and I was like, well, that sounds like I wanted something that did video, I wanted something that did photos, but also wasn't $6,000,
Yeah.
I mean, it was still $2,000 for the body alone, and then my lenses, I've invested almost $6,000 into lenses alone, more than my body. So, like, with that being said, Sony's where I go. I plan on buying a Canon camera though eventually. I think I'm gonna go with their mirrorless once they get another version or so out. Not because I don't like Sony, I like using both, honestly. Like,
yeah.
And
I mean, why not?
Well, it's expensive.
I mean, for sure.
Yeah, using 2 different types, but like also, I just plan on if I do end up getting another Canon camera or anything in the future, I'll probably just have something that I can adapt lenses back and forth, so I can use both lenses and stuff.
Yeah, I'd imagine that would be the way to go about it.
Yeah.
Having to double invest in lenses would be bananas.
Yeah, it is. And like the thing about it is like Sony is so expensive with their lenses. Like Canon's been around for so long with their photos and everything like that. Sony is ahead in the mirrorless game for sure, but they're behind in just cameras in general. Mm-hmm. So like they're still creating a lot of like Sony brand lenses, and they're expensive. Like they're super expensive. And it's like, okay, I can buy the same Canon lens for like almost half the price. Like,
yeah.
So that's one thing I thought about. But my goal at this point is to take my Sony camera I have. I'm gonna buy another Sony. I'm gonna buy the Sony A7 IV or A7R4, and then I'm gonna end up buying a Canon. Is what I'm thinking about doing. But like I said, the Canon lenses I can adapt to my Sony, so
yeah,
that won't be that bad.
What about in the videography? You using the same camera for that?
Yep, I use the Sony for that, and honestly, I don't know, for the price range. My camera is the biggest workhorse I've ever seen on the market, even right now, because it can do 4K video. It does it clear. It does it good. It's not. I mean, like I said, I can make beautiful footage from it, but ultimately, I think what I'm gonna end up upgrading to is like a Blackmagic Pocket Pro for my video, and then eventually Reds is what I want to do. I want to use Red cameras.
Yeah.
And honestly, I would use Reds now because I've already done a little bit of research on how to shoot with one, and I'm really wanted to test myself with doing it like for a music video, but like it's the budget kind of thing. Like I don't want to make someone else pay for my trial kind of thing. So what I'm working on doing is whenever I do that bar or the poker table scene, I think I'm gonna rent Reds for that and shoot it with that.
Yeah. There's places around here that you can rent cameras?
No, I borrow lenses. Is really what I use. It's all online. And I mean, for the most part, it's affordable, I say. I mean, depending on what you're getting and everything like that, but I think it's worth it, you know.
Yeah.
You can get I think their minimum is like 3-day rentals, and then like for my camera, for my body, it's only like I think like $40 or $50. For a red, it's like $150 for 3 days, but
that's a big investment to buy one of those. So
$15,000, yeah,
that's the real deal.
Like, and that's for like a low budget red. Like, you really want to get something, and honestly, they make some pretty good affordable ones that are like around the 15,000-16,000. There's a one, I don't know which specific one it is, but one that the guy I watch on YouTube, his name's Peter McKinnon. He uses a 8K one, and it's freaking just a beast.
Yeah.
Like, absolute beast. Like, I look at it, and I'm just like, man, I just need one of those. That's what I need right there.
Yeah. I went back and forth for a long time before I got the cameras for this setup. I'm pretty happy with these little
they look good.
Little Vixias that we've got. But I was looking at some Sonys for a while.
Yep.
And I just ended up with these. I was wanting to get something to do, like just to play around with some videography as well. Mm-hmm. And I guess I could with these, but it's more of like a camcorder setup with those rather than like a production shoot. You know what I mean?
Well, honestly, man, like I don't know how much they're running or anything. I haven't really looked at them, but you can go with like a Sony A6400, and like they shoot amazing video, like, and it's cropped lens, so what means it's just smaller lens size than what, you know, a full frame camera is, but like for video that really doesn't matter too much, you know.
Yeah.
So that's not a big thing.
Yeah.
But
yeah. And then finding the time to do it.
There's always time. See, this is when Gary Vee comes in and says, there's always time. You only need an hour a day.
Oh, man.
Only an hour.
That doesn't seem like enough.
Well, no, like, this will be Gary. He'll be sitting there interviewing, and someone's like, I don't got enough time. He's like, okay, so you work 8 hours a day. And he's like, okay, then you spend 4 hours a day, you know, doing your interests, playing video games, doing whatever. And he's like, that's 12 hours a day. You got 12 hours left. He's like, okay, so he's like, you're a millennial. He's like, sleep 4 or 5 hours. He's like, and then he's like, okay, so you're now at 17 hours. Now, what are you doing with the last 5 hours a day? And he's like, oh, well, nothing. And then he's like, okay, then do your shit.
Who is this guy?
Gary Vaynerchuk.
Gary Vaynerchuk?
Yeah, he, so basically what he was is he took his parents' wine business and he made one of the first internet businesses with it, and he's a millionaire because of it. But now he's a motivational speaker, and he just talks to people about how, you know, managing your time and how, like, basically not taking shit and just not making excuses. And honestly, he's right in the hardest, harsh way you can put it. Like, he's right.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, it's hard to do that. It's hard to dedicate yourself like he has. But like I said, he didn't really start, like, making money or becoming big until he was in his 40s. So, like,
yeah. Don't get me wrong, I'm terrible at managing my time because time management is just hard in general.
Yeah.
But, man, I'm telling you, there's not that much time. There really isn't.
No, and like I said, that's why I do spend a lot of time trying to research and, like, learn photography stuff. Like, I learn everything I know from YouTube. Like, I don't take classes. I mean, I go to creativelive.com, and honestly, that's a freaking awesome website, and yes, it's a thing I pay for, but Creative Live is literally just where you can go and you can learn about business, you can learn about money, you can learn about photography, videography, and there's, like, people that have just been working in this industry that teach these courses. And I mean, literally, that's what I try to do. Like, whenever I think about, oh, I could be playing video games right now, or oh, I could be doing this right now, and really I'm just laying here in bed watching, you know, binge watching something on Netflix. Mm-hmm. Like, I'll turn that on and I'll try to, like, learn something, you know.
Yeah.
And it's hard because even whenever I want to do things like that, it's hard to just be like, okay, I'm going to sit here and watch this. But then I'll sit there and I'll start watching, and I get interested. And then after I get interested, I'm like, shit, I got all these ideas now. or I learned something new. And that's the biggest thing I found out about photography, videography, and everything is just like you have to do it so much because there's just so many questions you don't know to ask until you've actually done it. Like, I didn't, like, whenever I was learning it and doing like video, it's like I didn't know anything about like when to do slow motion in 120 frames per second instead of 24, or that 24 was the most cinematic or anything like that. I didn't know those things, but I didn't also know to ask those things until I started watching a video and I was like, someone's like, oh, well, I'm gonna shoot the slow mo, so I'm doing it at 120 frames per second. And then you sit there like, well, why are you doing it at 120 frames per second? Like, so then you learn and then you ask, and like I said, unless you're doing it day to day, if you're not pushing yourself, if you're not shooting, if you're not, like, there's times I go out in the front yard and I just film grass.
Yeah.
Like, I just try to hold my camera steady more or do things handheld because I don't have a lot of gimbals or anything like that. So I'm doing a lot of handheld still. I'm just practicing doing that, like trying to go down the railing and making sure that it's smooth and easy, and like learning how to ninja walk and this thing they call for videography. And like, I mean, I try to learn anything I can. And so if I don't know the questions, the right questions to ask, you know, but you won't know those questions until you come about and you're like, oh crap, how do I do this?
Yeah, I found that the best way for me to learn as a person is just 2 feet in, man.
Mm-hmm.
I just gotta exposure to it, and then I'll know what to ask, and I'll know what I need to be looking for, and I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And I think that goes a long way for a lot of people. You know what I mean? You can even if you just sit and study something for, you know, a month straight, you're still, till you do it, you got no idea.
Exactly.
So that's how I've pretty much come across everything and got into everything, was just exposure to it. I got to find that. I got to get interested enough to be like, all right, what do I need to do this? And then a little research and then jump in and start doing it.
Yeah. It's a dangerous thing on both sides for me, at least, though, because there's a lot of times I'll be looking at something, or because like I said, I have a few like YouTubers that I follow, and they're just really just influencers in the industry. You know, they're not really people that teach, but they go about their life and how they're videographers and photographers and things like that. And I'll watch these dudes do stuff, and I'm like, man, how will I ever get there? Like, how will I ever do that? Like, I know I can, I know I want to, but how am I ever going to get there? And, you know, there's been more than one time, like, for the first 6-8 months of me doing photography or anything, I was editing on my phone. I didn't have a computer, didn't have a laptop, didn't have anything that could run all this nice programming. So I'm sitting there like trying to do all this crap on my phone. And, you know, it was crazy because I was like, I know I can do so much more. And then I got a computer, and then I start doing even more. And I'm like, okay, well, how do I compose a photo together that aren't even 2 same photos, or something like that, or just whatever it is, like doing little second exposure or double exposure stuff, like doing all that. I mean, I didn't know anything about all of it. So like every time I do a shoot, I always look for just something new. Like I just look for something to give me some kind of, you know, creativity. And I mean, it's worked for me so far.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a little slow paced in my opinion. I mean, I would love to just wake up the next day and be like, bam, look at this.
Sure. But
at the same time, I know that looking back at where I started and where I am now, I see the change.
Yeah, it's those breakthrough moments, man. Yeah. That's I mean, that's what spurs me on with everything, you know what I mean? And I think really most of that probably started with music. Like you know, as a young teenager, not really no life experience yet at that point, or very, very minimal, and then no real drive to go anywhere because it's just school for the next 8 years, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So just picking up a musical instrument and being able to, oh shit, I just played that. That's cool. I like that. And then, you know, being able to ramp up from there, and that just kind of blossomed into everything else, which was one of the things that got this going too. Like this, I had very, very limited on like a studio setup like this, and like a video and audio show.
Yeah.
it was a lot of research, a lot of trial and error.
Honestly, and this is the way I love it, though. I love stuff specifically that's video and audio. Like, video and audio is great just because I like both. Like, I can sit in my car and I can listen to it, but I love seeing people's faces. I love connecting with people. Yeah. And I think, like, that's one reason why I love music videos, and even as a musician itself, music videos were so important to me because I wanted people to see me. Like, I wanted people to know this is that dude. Like, you can see a photo or you can go to a show. You might talk to me, you might not, but like I've always wanted that visual aspect of everything.
Yeah, I think it's really helpful. The audio's great. Like for a podcast, music, whatever, you know, you're listening to it, you get that feel, that touch with it. But when you throw that video in there, you got that extra dimension, and you're just part of it more. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And that's like kind of the way I wanted to set a lot of this up whenever we were doing it. Like, if people are watching, like, I want them to feel like they're here. Yeah. They're part of the conversation. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
They're involved. That was kind of the idea with getting those involved in it too.
Yep. Well, you guys are the best. So, I mean, I like you. And like I said, it was just crazy. Like, we're literally sitting there in the level set, and then all of a sudden she's like, "You're Hayden, right?" And I was like, "Yeah."
I think didn't we like match on Tinder or something? Mm-hmm. And that's how how we connected. Yeah.
Yep. That's how it happens. That's how you meet people, man.
It is. Yeah. That's definitely one way. That's how I met her.
See, there you go.
I think that's how she met everybody here.
That's
what I'm secretly learning.
I was a barfly, so that's how I met everybody.
I may have met you on Facebook though too, because I remember seeing your post on Facebook or suggested friend. Well, no, it might have been Tinder and then suggested friends.
And then you like added me. I think that's more likely what happened. But yeah.
Yeah, that's probably what happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's probably what happened.
But I was a barfly, so that's how I met everybody. And that's how you do it. Going out to the scene and everything.
Well, no, I've met some of my closest friends on Tinder, to be honest. Like, just being straight. Like, I mean, I've met some people that I'm like just cool with now, so it's whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a cool way to meet people, you know, and a cool way to get laid if you're just trying to do that too. If you're just trying.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah. But. I mean, it's whatever floats your boat, man.
Yeah.
But, no, like I said, it was just crazy how it happened. She's like, "I think you're Hayden, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's me. Sure. You want to do a podcast? Yeah. Yeah, let's do that."
She was, she was trying to talk to me, like during one of the levels, during their set. And then somebody else was trying to talk to me during the set, and I'm just like, "Yeah, great, awesome." And no clue what anybody's saying.
Yeah, no. Well, and no. See, when I went to Oregon and everything, and I came back because we drove, all the elevation changes, like I got really sick, like sinus infection out there. So coming back and forth, my ears like got so clogged, and I got 2 ear infections in both my ears. So like for the last week and a half, I've been clearing out all this drainage and congestion and stuff. So like I'm hard of hearing anyway, so I'm trying to like hear what she says, but I'm also watching because I'm trying to watch Jeremiah. I'm trying to see how he's doing because this is his show and stuff, and I wanted to see how he did and stuff. But I also was like very interested in this. I was like, yes, I want to do this. Like, yes, I'm down. Let's do something. I don't care what it is we do. I was like, photography, whatever. And then I was like said trying to watch him and make sure that he was doing good, and you know, making sure that the show was going great for them and stuff. So I was like, it was just a weird experience. I was like, yes, this is awesome.
Yeah, it was good. I'm glad it worked out.
But that's how it happens a lot of times. And to be honest, I hate it because like I talk to so many people, and I've talked to so many people over the years. Like I'll go to a show every time, and they'll be like, "Hey, Hayden," I'll be like, "I'm sorry, man, I don't remember you." Yeah. It's not that I don't remember you. It's not necessarily I don't remember. I'm just like, oh, I know your face. I'm terrible with names. Like, I don't know. Who are you again?
Yeah, man, I have that same problem. And now, like, I've been tattooing a couple years now, and then like someone will book something.
Exactly.
I'm like, cool. We'll talk through text. Cool. They'll show up. I'm like, okay, cool. So yeah, we're gonna do this today. Awesome. They're cool. Yeah. I get them back there. We get started. I'm like, so is this your first one? They're like, you've done like 4 on me, and I'm like, oh fuck.
Damn it.
My bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. We've spent a lot of time together then. My bad.
Yeah, just trust me. Like, that's how it is. And, you know, it's just crazy. I can imagine it's a lot like that for you, especially being a tattooer, like seeing people on the regular and then doing music and stuff. But it's also been weird because I've been shocked about people coming up to me and knowing me. I was in Houston one time with my ex-fiance. We were on vacation, and we just went and watched an Astros game. After that, we were like, okay, let's go to the mall and have lunch. And so we're sitting there, and we're having lunch, and like I said, this is my first time to ever be in Houston itself and, like, actually spending time. And I'm sitting there eating, and this dude walks up, and he shoves his phone in my face, and he goes, is this you? And it's my Instagram handle. And I was like, yeah, that's me. He's like, dude, I saw your videos of you and Suffocate on the internet and stuff. And I'm like, okay, like, dude, this is the most amazing thing that's ever happened to me, because I'm not in my own state. I'm in a city that I've never been to, and someone's coming up to me and saying, hey, you're Hayden, right? And I'm like, fuck, damn. But it was a great experience. But it's like my friend Nick Esposito says, anytime he goes and he talks to anybody about me, he'll be like, oh, me and my friend Hayden. They'll be like, Hayden who? And he'll be like, Hayden Valentine. And he'll go, you know who they are. You know who he is. You know. And they're like, I think I know. But no, he's like, you know. Because, like, literally every time we're out in public, somebody will come up and he'll be like, who the hell do you not know? And it's just, I think it's just coincidence. But still, it's just crazy. Like, it's crazy how funny things like that happen, and you get to know people, and you meet people all over the place, and I've talked to so many people on the internet, and
yeah,
like I said, it's just crazy how small the world can get sometimes.
It is really crazy. It's sometimes surprising too.
Yeah,
but that's a good thing to be able to do, like make connections like that. I think a lot of shit in general revolves around being able to make connections, and the connections you do have, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and one thing is, like, I grew up, because I'm 27. I don't know how old you guys are, but I'm 27. So whenever I was, I remember when the first iPhone came out. Like, it was the first one. There wasn't really, there was the Blackberries and all that stuff, but that was, not really a smartphone yet, but the first iPhone. And whenever that happened, like, social media happened, Facebook, Instagram, MySpace, all that, you started connecting with people all over the place. Like, when I was a kid, because people didn't tell you how dangerous it was, I'd met people on the other side of the world and talked to, and I didn't know who the hell they were, but I was communicating with them, someone that I never would have been able to do. So that's why I really like social media. I think nowadays it's very sensitive, it's very crazy, and anything that goes on social media is dangerous at this point, because it can be you're held accountable for, whether it be something you said when you were young or anything like that. But
sure,
just saying, social media is a great thing, because, like, I would never saw your podcast, I would have never saw any of the photography stuff that I see, like YouTube, all that stuff. I love it, because I love being able to meet people. I love being able to communicate and talk to people that I never would have before. And honestly, some of my best friends that I met, like, for instance, my friend Sebastian, he's from Germany, and he's in the band called Nightshade, and they're a deathcore band. And back in 2015, he asked me to fill in for their band on a tour on Japan, which I ended up not going because I couldn't get a passport in time, and I was actually going through a breakup. But at the same time, I would have never known this dude if it wouldn't have been for the internet, because he'd seen me in one of my music videos, added me. We never talked, never did anything. I liked maybe a few posts and stuff. Then one day he posted that he needed a vocalist, and I hit him up, and he's like, yeah, man, I would love for you to come do this and shit. Yeah. And, like, just like I said, I would never met this dude or even had the opportunity or anything like that. Suffocate would never happen if I didn't have the opportunity, like social media and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
I battle with it a lot, because I'm a little bit older, but, like, so I remember the internet coming about. I remember, like, it being a thing, being like early high school. But where I lived, I grew up in the Heber area, but I was on the north side of the dam.
That's where Christian's from, if you didn't know.
I did not know that.
Yeah, Heber Springs. Just saying.
I didn't know that at all.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm a little bit older though. So
I just thought that was kind of cool.
But so I didn't have internet until I was already like moved out of my parents' place, and then in a little apartment in Heber when I was first starting out on my own. So I was in my early 20s before I ever really had a real internet connection, and really got into social media.
Yeah.
So I was a little bit late, and I still battle with it now. Like now, there's so much, everything really that I do revolves around it. Between this, tattoos, just trying to get everything out, just so people can see it. Mm-hmm. And now with the way things are, it's such a battle.
Yeah, it is, honestly, and that's why I said it's a double-edged sword. Like, literally, there's so many great things that can come out of it, but there's so many bad things that come out of it. Like, I mean, for instance, trolling, that crap drives me up the wall. But at the same time, I get why they're doing it. They're doing their thing. Yeah. They're making their spot, and they're doing, and truly, trolling has its upsides, I guess. But and then, like, I don't know, I just, especially nowadays with all like the more of the boudoir stuff, even too, like there's just like all the premium Snapchats. I think there's just too many bad stipulations with social media that really shouldn't have those stipulations. I think that these are acceptable things. They should be acceptable. These people are who they are. They're doing what they do. Just like, for instance, art. Like, you're doing your art, you're doing your tattoos, you just want to make yourself seen. I'm just doing photography, I just want to make yourself seen. But somebody always has to turn something negative or something positive into something negative,
Oh, for sure.
And I think that it's very evil.
Well, the broader your audience gets, the more you're gonna find that, because you're gonna have people who just want to rebel against what everybody else is like falling into anyway. Just in that right, and then you're gonna have people who think your shit sucks no matter what.
Oh yeah, regardless.
Mm-hmm. And that's always the case in anything.
Yeah,
anything you ever do, somebody's gonna think you fucking suck at it.
Yeah, I made a big mistake. Well, I won't say big mistake, because I still don't think it's a mistake. But anyways, whenever Tom Barber, the new vocalist of Chelsea Grin, got into the band, I went on, because I have a Chelsea Grin cover, and I'm very proud of that cover, and I like it. It's done well. But I went on one of their live videos, and I was like, you guys should have just had tryouts. I was like, I think I could have got this position. I was like, I'm not saying Tom Barber's a bad vocalist, because I do like Tom, but I was like, I think I could have done better. And I was like, cool. And then, like, I mean, so many people messaged me on YouTube about that crap. They're like, oh, you're just talking shit. You just want to be the best. And I was like, dude, I'm not even saying he's bad. I'm not saying anything. I was just saying, I wish I would have had the chance to try out. Like, I wish I could have had that. Even if I didn't make it, I had the chance. I had that opportunity. Yeah. And they're like, well, you're just talking out your ass. You just think you're the shit. And I was just like, watch my video, man. I was like, I'm not the best vocalist ever, and I'll never say ever that I'm the best vocalist, because there are people out there that blow me out of the water, and then blow me out of the water at even, things that I can't do. But I think I did a good job, and I think I had something there,
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know. I'm very optimistic, and I'm also very passionate about my music, so I don't know, sometimes I get a little talkative, and I was, like I said, I didn't say anything bad, I just said that I wish I would have been able to try out. And a lot of people just like message me like, oh, you asshole. I'm like, I promise I'm not trying to be, like, I like him, but I wanted to try out.
Yeah,
I'm a little jaded.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that situation is even a little more different, because you're gonna get people who are like super stoked on the direction they went. Mm-hmm. So then you're like, well, fuck this guy.
Yeah, no, he's an asshole. He doesn't support them.
Yeah,
it's like, no, I do. I really do. I promise I do.
Yeah,
but I mean, like I said, I just wanted my opportunity.
Internet's a strange place, man. Just in general.
Like I said, I think it's also because my last 3 years, I try to be patient, and I try not to rush things, because I know that I'll get a band and I'll get something going, no matter whether it's, in a band that's with my friends, or it's a band with people I don't know, or something that I join and that's already established. I know I'm going to go somewhere. Like,
Yeah.
With music, that is. And I know that I'm going to get in a band again, and that's why I just want to support all my friends now, like, that are doing music, all the people, I'm not really friends. Well, I won't say I'm not friends, but I'm not close with a lot of people and like the Go for Gold people, but I support them. I want them to do everything that they can to make it. And the same thing with Past Comfort, Mismanaged, like all these bands that are doing something, whether they want to be big, whether they want to be small, whether they want to tour, whether they just want to do it while they can. Like,
yeah,
I want them to do it, and I want them to make something of it, and I want them to push everything for it. And that's why, like, that's another reason why I do my videography thing. I just want to support people. So
yeah, that's one of the, there was a multitude of reasons that this all got started, but one of the big ones was, let's just make a platform for everyone around here, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
just help build this, help flourish this thing we got going, not only in the music scene, but in everything. We've had people,
we've had photographers, we've had videographers, we've had other musicians, of course, we've had, what else? We've had just people that do things.
My buddy who makes knives, he came and did a podcast.
Health enthusiast, Maria.
I don't want to step out my boundaries or anything, but if he watches this, I want him to know I'm just asking. But has Kurt come on yet? Kurt Lunsford? Okay, no. Well, Kurt's someone you might think about doing. He's, like I said, he's been a big advocate for the scene, and everything like that. I don't know if you guys know who he is, but
yeah. I've ran into him in shows plenty of times. I've reached out to him, but we haven't got any kind of response yet or anything. But
fair enough.
That's that's how it goes sometimes.
Well, like I said, he does everything, and but I just want to say, he's doing something too. Like, he's another photographer, and he's been doing it for a lot longer than I have. So, I just, like I said, anybody that you guys think of,
Yeah.
I've loved doing this. This is fun.
Yeah, we try to have a good time.
Yeah.
We try to make it just chilling and hanging out and just getting to know people, you know what I mean? And then letting everyone else get to know people.
Yeah.
Because social media is hard. And, like, getting yourself out on social media is a fucking shit show these days.
Well, yeah, because marketing in general, like, that's what my degree is. I have a business management and marketing degree. And honestly, I wish I would have went more for social media marketing, because probably would have helped me a little bit better.
That's definitely the direction that everything's going.
Exactly. But honestly, it's not much different than what I went to school for or anything like that. So
yeah, it's tough, especially like if you've got a business involved with it, because as far as social media goes, everyone's just trying to make a buck.
Yep.
On that end, so they want you to advertise your shit with money, which is, I understand, but at the same time, a small business just getting off the ground usually doesn't have a whole lot of capital to do that.
Yeah.
So you got a voice that's not heard in social media. And how else are you gonna get your shit out these days?
It's expensive to do it.
Same thing with like as a band, you know what I mean? A lot of bands don't have capital as themselves,
and honestly, I feel like that's one of the reasons why metal still is growing definitely now. I feel metal is growing more than it ever has, but I feel like that's what's taken it so long, is it has stipulations on it that it's devil music, it's for the people that are bad, and all this stuff, tattooed people and everything like that. But really, people just didn't understand it. People just didn't understand what it was about. And now that there's people in my generation that are 27, 28, 29 that have been doing this metal stuff for years, and they have their own kids, they're actually being, exposed to it. Like, for instance, my nephews. Like, my brother is a big metal head, but he doesn't force them to listen to metal. But Nash, one of the twins, dude, fucking loves the shit. Like, absolutely loves it. Like, he wants to listen to it. He knows what it is. He definitely wants that. And I think that's just what it's going to take for metal to really just blow up. It's just people like us.
Yeah. And
not just metal, other genres that are pushed aside. Pop punk. Pop punk is still big, but it's not like it's country. It's not like it's Taylor Swift, that in the last decade is the most highest paid artist in the world. Taylor Swift's my girl though. I'm sorry. I love Taylor Swift. On the way here, I was jamming the new album. I was still like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything from her in so long.
Well, she's awesome.
Yeah.
She's a bitch, but she's awesome.
Yeah. I have heard that about her.
She is.
Of course, I've never run into her, so I don't.
Well, no,
know,
I haven't either. But there's enough on.
Oh, she's definitely a terrible person. For
yeah,
sure.
yeah, no.
I'm sorry. Like, she's definitely.
She's a terrible person.
She's definitely terrible.
And the funny thing is she's terrible to photographers, but I am bound and determined to be her photographer. So, like, I am gonna do it. I am going to, like, it's gonna happen. You watch one day.
I don't know how somebody so terrible is still so good at looking like America's angel. Like, that's the worst part, is we all know she's terrible, but, like, she's just, I'm sweet and dainty and, like...
What's terrible about her?
So, well, the most recent thing she did was with her old record label. So she was on a record label called Big Machine Records. Okay. Her dad invested a crap ton of money into this independent label to build it, and she was basically the one that made the label blow up. Well, recently they were going to re-sign a contract with her, and they were going to literally give her rights to all of her masters. Like, all of her tracks were going to be hers. She was making 100% money on everything that she makes, and just to keep her. She's like, no, I'm gonna go somewhere else. But when she made a statement about it, she basically made it seem like Big Machine Records was dicking her around and, like, being a douche and not treating her well and all this stuff. But, like, they, like, literally... The owner of Big Machine Records posted a status a few days later, and he's like, here's some time for some truth. And he, like, screenshots her conversation with them and stuff, and it's all her just being like, no, it's okay. I just want to see what else is out there and everything. Like, totally nice conversation and everything.
Well,
and
she just in general has she's very good at making narratives work for her.
Yep.
So, like, and she's very good at switching the angle. Because even, like, the Kanye West thing,
that's what angle, I was going to go to.
Yeah, all of that's about her narrative and the angle. Like, the Kanye West thing, there's actual proof that, like, he's gotten permission to do everything that he's done. He's done things the right way. Kanye West, whatever, controversial in and of himself. But that whole situation between the two of them, she... switched the narrative around.
Yeah,
and
isn't
she was
there
able
like
to
voicemails or messages
yes,
where she's like, "Yeah, this is cool.
Yeah,
that'd be rad."
Exactly, yeah. and it's like the Apple Music thing back in 2015.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, and now I get where she came from with this, because Apple Music was not paying their artists; they weren't really giving them anything. But she made a big deal. She's like, I'm taking all my music away from Apple Music. Nothing can be played. She even took her stuff off of YouTube. Like, if it wasn't a cover or somebody else's, like, clip video that they made, she took all of it off. And she's like, I'm not doing any of that stuff until you pay me what you owe me for all this stuff.
It kind of makes you look like a cunt anyway, because if Beyonce can have her music up there, you can have your music up there.
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
And not only that, yes, Spotify and Apple Music are notorious for not really paying their artists what they deserve.
Sure.
Now, they're better now because of her, really. But at the same time,
they're still not
like, she made a big deal about it, and, like, it was just a big deal where she was like, no, I'm not doing it. And then after she finally gets them to pay her and everything, she does a Apple commercial with them where she's running on a treadmill, like, singing her songs. And I'm like, this girl is, like, hosing these people hard. Like, I'm going to make you pay me for it, and then you're going to pay me to do this and promote your shit.
See, I don't understand why people don't just, like, wise up.
Because it's Taylor Swift, and as much as you can deny, or you can admit that she's a bitch, and she can be very mean and unfair and say some things that aren't really true, she is an amazing writer. She's one of the true people that still writes her own music. She does have a person she writes with, but her ideas come from her. And
honestly, she looks like a very she's blonde and she's kind of frail looking, and if you're mean to her, you kind of look like a bully. Well, honestly, that's really what it comes down to.
It is. And she's spoiled. She's been spoiled her entire life. Yeah. Like, literally, her family up and rooted their entire life to move to Nashville just for her. Yeah. She's been spoiled, but at the same time, like,
I mean, it was a smart move on them in the grand scheme of things, though, right?
Well, yeah, it was. But her dad was a big music producer anyways, or something like that. But the thing about it is on her newest album, she has a song, and the lyrics are would she get there quicker if she was a man, kind of thing. And then, like, she releases this album and releases this song, and then at the beginning of 2020, they named her the highest paid musician in the world in the last decade. It's like, I think you got far enough being a woman, you know. Not saying that it matters whether you're a man or a woman, but she's just saying how that she would have got farther if she would have been a man.
Just playing the victim role.
Like, exactly, playing the victim and saying...
Which is only weird. Like, I remember the one thing I do agree with her on is the fact that, and she has brought up this before, she's like, I write music about my breakups with my boyfriends, but also guys write music about their breakups with their girlfriends.
Yeah.
So, like, why am I... And I do agree, it is kind of a dumb target, but I will target you for being a terrible person.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I'm not going to target you because you write about your boyfriend. I'm going to target you because...
Well, also, isn't every guy she's ever dated the worst, apparently? Well, like, all her songs are about how shitty these dudes are.
Not only that...
Yeah, but guys are going to write songs about how terrible all these girls are too.
And I'm sorry, she after you have so many relationships and they're all like literally so alike, I stopped thinking that they're the problem.
Well, there's a lot of...
You might be the problem, Taylor.
In country music, there's a lot of dudes that write songs about how sad they are because they don't have the girl anymore. Like, just, my girl done left me, and God damn it, where'd she go? I gotta find her and get her back.
Yep.
So, I mean, she goes the exact opposite route.
Well, and I just feel bad because, like, she's always... Well, I don't know if she's dating... I really don't know if she's dating anyone right now. I think she is, but, like... How would you feel if you're a dude and you're like listening to her sing about all these other dudes? I'm like, honey, I'm here. I exist.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it cushions the blow when you're getting like when she's taking you to like
wherever
giant Michelin star meals and you guys are going on just vacation in fucking Bali and wherever.
She has this high rise up in Nashville, and it, like, literally this building is fucking huge, and it's fucking like I've seen pictures on the inside, and it's just her and her cats, and it's like, man, like, you're really hurting, you're just hurting in life right now. You're just not doing the best. You're hurting because your boyfriend left you or whatever, and you probably were mean to him, and now you're gonna write a song, and he's gonna be famous because you wrote a song about him.
Yeah, probably. Of course, maybe any of those dudes. Who I don't know.
I mean, she's definitely dated very famous people.
Yeah,
as well.
Are people like, this song's about me? I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, you can usually tell. Like, she'll say something like, on this date, you were wearing this sweater, and everybody's like really quick on the internet to be like, okay, this date, what paparazzi picture came out? And so you can pretty much target every song she's on.
And believe it or not, she's a very open person. She's a very open person, and she makes a lot of comments about things. And, like, in most of her albums, she has, like, the making of it. And it'll be her in her pajamas at her piano with her cell phone. She'll be, like, doing the song, and she'll be talking about what she's thinking about and what she's writing about. And you're just like...
Jesus.
Yeah, it's like, okay, like, she's pretty open. Like,
I mean, she's a terrible person. Like, we know these relationships. These guys might have been terrible to her, but also she's just actually notoriously a terrible person.
I think it's just because she's such a narcissist. Like, she's definitely a narcissist. Like, she cares about Taylor. She's like, I am Taylor Swift, and I'm gonna be respected.
To be fair, it's working out.
Oh yeah, no, she's doing just...
She's killing it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't care. I don't care. She can whatever she wants to me, as long as I can, take her photos sometime. I just want to work for her really bad because I think it would be cool. And plus, I don't know. She is one of my favorite artists. I don't care who she is as a person because I don't know her as a person really.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not in her life. I don't really have anything to say that matters to her or anything that matters in my life, but I do love her as an artist, and I fell in love with her music a long time ago, and it's weird because it's all about dudes, but still it's really catchy and I like it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the goal of it. I believe, to make people like it, and she's doing well.
Well, that and one of her new songs, she does like this little screaming part too, and she said she was going to do it, and she did it, and I'm like, okay. I can accept that.
Right on. I knew a dude who was a paparazzi for a while. I worked with him. He was from Brazil, and came to the U.S. and he was living in L.A. And then a dude was like, "Hey, you want to take pictures for me?" And he was like, "Sure." And he was giving me a lot of insight on how all of that works. and he made a fuck ton of money doing it.
Well, I can imagine. Honestly, when you said that, I sat there and sat to myself. I was like, why haven't I tried that yet?
Dude, yeah. Apparently, if you're like into photography, that's the jam.
Well, I have plenty of friends I could live with in LA, and I'm sure I could maybe like figure out how they do this stuff, or just start following somebody or something or another. Like, I don't know.
From what he was telling me, like basically, you just get. You pretty much just get assigned someone, right? So you're on this is you're on Jennifer Aniston, and like you just go and you start following Jennifer Aniston, but like it turns into like a business relationship, and because he was like, I'd see her almost every day, and then he'd be like, some days she'd be like, not today, and then like he'd be like, okay, cool. And just like go fuck off for a while.
I've definitely heard that celebrities can and will call like paparazzi for themselves. Like they'll be like, hey, I'm about to walk out with this guy, will you please come take some pictures?
Dude, that's something I need to get on, because I swear, like, they'll come out of their house, I'll be like, what kind of coffee you like? Do you drink coffee? You like tea? I'll literally have it out here, just take a few photos.
yeah, most of it is all just like scheduled and planned, and like that's the deal.
Yeah.
And they may try to make you seem like it's not, so they're getting caught, because it's just so much more interesting. But he said he made so much fucking money doing that, like millions.
Well, one of my friends, I have a friend out in LA, and he was doing something similar to that. He was actually doing a photo shoot, or he just finished one up, and he was doing it for some models out in LA. Well, when he was out there, he ran into Adam Sandler. And he literally walked up to Adam Sandler, and he's like, dude, because he was with his family, and he's like, hey, let me just take some photos of me. And Adam's like, you can take some family photos of me real quick if you want. And literally took some family photos of him right there, like on the Broadway. And like it blew up for him, so it did really well. Like, I mean, he was just there, and like he was a really cool dude to him. It was nice. So I was like, man, fuck. If it's that easy, that's where I need to be.
I know, it's crazy.
It's like my uncle lives in Sacramento. I can travel to LA from there. It's only like 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, I mean, just to fuck around, right?
Yeah.
That's my buddy, he came up. He was in Brazil, but he came up, and then he was just hanging out, and then someone was like, hey, you're not doing anything. Take this camera, go take some pictures, and it ended up being like ridiculous for him.
I'm just gonna make a sign and go down to LA and go to a busy area and be like, we'll take portrait photos for, cheap.
Yeah.
Just live on the sidewalk.
Well, I think in that area anyway, like the more like homely you look, the more people are like, that dude's got so much money.
Mm-hmm.
So
LA is really
just dress
awesome.
down and you're set, man.
Yeah. I don't know if either one of you have ever been there, but LA is really fucking dope.
I've only been through LA. I've never spent time there.
Well, Huntington Beach is better. Honestly, it's about an hour south of there, but Huntington Beach is fucking awesome, man. There's this place called Broxy there. It's waffle burgers and chicken and waffles, and nice. I swear, like their building's right on the beach. You can see the ocean, and it's open, and it's so awesome.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. The West Coast is where it's at.
Well, yeah, the weather's perfect, right? Mm-hmm. Until it falls into the ocean.
Yeah,
which is just a matter of time.
Yeah, it's screwed eventually.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Florida. Florida's, man.
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah, Florida's a weird place.
Yeah.
They have like all weather except for snow, and then the people are just like always on vacation, so it's just bananas all the time.
Yeah, no. One of my family friends, who's a photographer, and he's from Jupiter, Florida, which Jupiter is like one of the richest places in Florida to live. And he made like $1 million photography business doing weddings and stuff. And then once he retired, he just goes around and takes celebrity photos on golf courses. That's what he does now.
Nice.
He just takes like
that's a sweet.
Yeah,
gig.
He's worked with Michael Jordan like a bunch of times, and I'm like, that's the gig right there.
Yeah, man.
But anyways, he's like, dude, like Florida's crazy, man. He's like, you get the craziest people there. And believe it or not, I believe it, because I've been there a few times, and I was back there in March, or the past March, on tour, and shit's always going down in Florida.
Yeah.
But it's the only place that you'll see, like, you'll be driving and it'll be like, beware of bear. And then, like, later, like 5 seconds later, it's like, beware of alligator. And it's like,
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Both?
Well, also now they
No.
have the ridiculous, like, python, like,
Yeah.
shit going down. Like, 20 fucking feet long pythons just destroying the ecosystem. Fucking, that place is bananas, man.
Yeah, it's a mini Australia.
It is. It's the Wild West of the U.S.
Yeah, there's so much stuff going on. But,
Do
I mean,
whatever the fuck you want and, like, don't get eaten.
yeah, but it's still beautiful there. And, like, going to Destin, if you're going to, like, Destin, like, that's up around Pensacola and stuff. Like, Destin's so beautiful. I love it there. And I'm not a big fan of Florida, but there's a few spots that I like.
Yeah.
Orlando, if you ever go to Orlando, you have to go to the fanciest McDonald's there is, because they have suits and they have like an elevator and they bring it out like a waiter, and it's awesome. But if you go like literally across the freeway to the other side, there's the largest McDonald's in the world, and it has an arcade on the top, and
Holy shit.
like it's right next to Disney World. It's fucking the shit.
That's bananas.
It is literally bananas.
Florida's too crazy.
Yeah, it is. It's like, because it's
Suits in McDonald's?
Yeah, and it's a 3-story McDonald's. You're just like, what's going on?
That's too much.
It is too much, but it's still awesome.
Florida's wild, man. It's a crazy place.
It's like going to see the monument or the presidential Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
Like that. When I saw that for the first time, I was like, dude, that's the fucking president's. I was like, I see it in movies, but you know.
Yeah.
But that's cool. Like, that's what I love about traveling so much. Like, I think this year, the biggest thing I want to do is just travel more outside the United States. Like, I want to go to Japan. I want to go to Europe. Would love to go to Russia, but you know, I don't know if that's a good idea.
Yeah, Russia's a strange place. I've never been there. I've been close, but I've never been there.
It's just the architecture, man. Like, just it seems so beautiful. I like I said, I love the cold. I am a cold-blooded person. Like, I run hot, so in the cold I thrive. You know, so anywhere that's cold, I'm down for. But I would love to just take pictures out there, man. I can imagine it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I see pictures and I'm like, damn it, I could have taken that.
Well, yeah, and the thing is, there's most places you go, you can find like super rad stuff to take some pictures. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you can find beautiful places in a lot of places if
No.
you're just ready to look.
No, I'm going to tell you right now, like, traveling is the best way to do this. So I was in Kansas, or we were going into Kansas, and we left Arkansas about 12 p.m. at night. So it was night. We loaded up all the nephews, and we're driving out to Oregon, and we get to Kansas. Well, right as we get to Kansas, the sun's coming up. Well, Kansas had just gotten snow, so there's like 4 feet of snow on the side of the freeway, which is the most beautiful I've ever seen Kansas. But we're driving down the freeway, and there's like this little lake in this little small town right before you get to Wichita to go like across the stretch going towards Colorado. And like literally the sun's coming up. It's this lake. It's surrounded by these trees that all have white frost on them. They're all dead. And like, dude, literally my brother just hits the brakes and he's like, dude, let's take a picture of this. And it's like, dude, it's the most beautiful like scene. And like I said, I'm about to release some of these photos too. And man, like I said, it's just when you're driving along and you're just like, what the fuck? Like, I didn't even know this existed. And then you're like, okay, well, now I do. And now it's stamped in time.
Yeah.
Because it got that photo.
Man, I'll tell you, probably the most beautiful place I've ever been. I've been around quite a bit, but the most beautiful spot is Thailand.
Okay.
Dude,
I can imagine.
If you ever get a chance, you should run through there.
There's a lot of reasons I want to go to Thailand. So yes,
it's an interesting place for sure.
It's the spot that honestly sounds like a place I want to be.
I was in
Except it's hot.
Phuket. It is warm. I was in Phuket, and it was crazy, like how beautiful that place is. But really, it was July then, but the weather was perfect at that time. Like during the day, it was warm, but it wasn't too hot.
Yeah.
And then at night, like it cooled down a little more, and it was, I mean, everything was great. Shrimp, fucking big as my fucking fist, man.
So what had you? What were you doing out there?
Work.
Okay.
I'm in the offshore.
Yeah, I was just about to say, you said offshore. What exactly do you do?
I work on the oil rigs.
Okay.
So like I run the warehouse and then do the logistics for them.
Okay.
And then in that time we were off. We had just come out of Korea, and we were doing some testing for a company we were about to go to work for just outside of Thailand.
Yeah.
And I had been there for like 70-something straight days getting their warehouse set up because we just taken delivery of this ship out of the shipyard. And I was like, hey, when the fuck am I going home? Because I had been there for months at this point. And they were like, oh, yeah, I guess you need to go home at some point, right?
Yeah.
So everyone was leaving on like the 3rd of July and then heading home and doing a big crew change. And then since it was like last minute, they couldn't, and the holidays and everything. Yeah. Like I got stuck there a day, so I got an extra day in Phuket. And it was really fucking rad. I'm actually really glad I did. It was over the holiday, so that kind of blew. But I had just been traveling on the holiday anyway, so it didn't matter.
I've been one that since I've gotten older, like 18 and beyond, like holidays have just been things that I just work through and stuff like that. Like like I just got hit up last week about a wedding, and she's like, well, I booked this wedding, and she's like, before I even knew it was on Father's Day, she's like, I hope that doesn't matter. And I was like, no, dude. I was like, my dad's in Georgia. He's working his ass off, building solar plants and everything like that. So it's not a big deal. Like, I'll work on Christmas if I have to. Like, I'll work on Christmas. So.
Yeah. That's how pretty much it's the same. Birthdays, holidays, it's just another day. Just whatever I got to do on that day is what I got to do on that day. Yeah. The only thing, if I'm home on the holidays, I'm like, oh yeah, shit. We don't have any fucking food now and the grocery store's closed. Fuck.
Yeah. It's like, I haven't been here.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, you gotta plan around that, I guess. But
so you gone often, or I know you said you're coming up on.
It's normally a month on, month off. But right now I'm in a weird spot where the rig I'm supposed to be on is supposed to have a job coming up in Ghana, but that's not supposed to start until like later on, like maybe like March. Yeah. So right now I'm just kind of bouncing around, filling in where they need me until that starts to kick off.
Yeah. See, my dad worked out in Anchorage one time on well, that's where he went to, and I don't know where exactly he was working, but he was on the pipeline once, doing electrical work. So. Yeah. Yeah. So he did that once, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah, they have a lot of that out there. I've got a buddy. He actually was on the show recently, Brandon. He spent a lot of time up there. He was playing with a band. And ended up getting booked on the Warped Tour. Yeah. They did an all-Alaska stage. Yeah. But he said it's fucking killer out there. He actually really enjoyed living out there.
Yeah, no, my dad, whenever he went there, he was really excited to be there. He wanted to make sure that, he took pictures and everything for me when he was out there. He's like, dude, this is a place I could actually probably live, I was like, yeah, it's cold, but it's not so bad. Like, it's not like it's always just crazy. Yeah. Except whenever it's like daytime for like 3 months.
I gotta tighten that thing up.
That's
again.
all right.
No, my bad.
That's all right.
But tell people where they can find you, see your shit. Tell them where they can get a hold of you if they want to do something.
All right. So Unparalleled Images is my Facebook and Instagram handle. As you can see, it's UNPARALLELED Images.
Hit that like button.
Yeah, hit that like button.
Hit that like button.
Because you gotta like me. If you want to find me on my personal, it's _Metal Valentine _ That's just my personal page where I mostly post other photography stuff that is not just strictly portraiture. It's like my video work and also my concert work. Facebook, Hayden Valentine, if you want to add me on there. I'm always down to be in contact, or it's unparalleledimages@gmail.com if you need to contact me for any kind of work. And again, I do any type of thing. I don't really pick just one. Just whatever you want, I'm down to do it. So
yeah. So hit him up if you want to do some cool photos. If you got cool ideas, or if you let him come up with some cool ideas. I'm sure he's got plenty of them.
Yeah, and if you want to start a band, I play metal.
Yeah, there you go.
Exactly. I do the Gurgur thing.
All of that.
Yes, all of it. And then also, if you want to do any of my covers or anything, just search Hayden Valentine on YouTube, and all of it will come up. Like I said, I have Chelsea Grin, Whitechapel. I've got Volumes. I've got Bring Me the Horizon. I've got also some other originals on there as well from a band called Enemy AC 130 Above, which I have as original, and then all my Smoke Signals and Suffocate, everything. Just type in Hayden Valentine, you'll find me.
Nice.
I pop up.
Yeah, and you guys know where to find us. There's links to all his shit in the down in the descriptions. So check him out. Take some cool photos. And yeah, hit him up if you want to start a band.
Yeah.
I heard him singing some of the Levels jams at the show. I was impressed.
I appreciate it.
I was impressed. If I had some people to start a band, we'd fucking make some cool shit happen.
Hey, it can always happen.
Eventually, right?
Yes.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time. See you later.
Later, guys.